Welcome back to another episode of the Football Frauds podcast. My name is Miles.
My name is Connor.
And I'm Matt.
We're talking NFL supporting casts. Which teams provide the best supporting cast for the quarterback? We're talking strictly offense, play caller, skill group, offensive line. Fellas, how we doing this week? How you been?
Doing good. Work's kind of kicking my butt, but we're here. This is the highlight of my week. We're talking supporting cast. Arguably, the best part of an NFL team is the supporting cast. Who cares about quarterbacks? Honestly, I've been saying frick them.
Oh,
What do you think, Matt?
I've been having a fantastic week, specifically looking down on all of our fans who care way too much about quarterbacks. They're thinking about Tyler Shuck. They're thinking about Bryce Young. You know
Dude,
who I'm
imagine-
thinking about? DJ Glaze, okay? I'm in the thick of it.
Imagine being enough of a casual where you actually still care about quarterback play.
Oh, it's a vacuum. You could put
Couldn't
anyone there.
be me.
You could put you could put Mr. Rogers at quarterback play nowadays.
Mr. Rogers, Patrick Mahomes, doesn't matter. Matt, rip the intro. And now, let's start off with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Matt, opening thoughts, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. What's your lean on them? How you rating their OC? How you're rating their supporting cast? Do you trust their offensive line outside of Tristan Wirfs?
Yeah, so let me jump into this tier list. We got simple tiers. We can rename them at any point if someone has a recommendation out of this. But our goal is to come together and kind of go 1 to 32, but overall leave these teams in buckets for where their supporting cast is. How well, in this case, is Baker Mayfield supported? Buccaneers immediately, I feel like I have them medium to low. And I feel like now that Liam Cohen's no longer there, Mike Evans is no longer there. I love Tristan Wirfs. I like who Godwin used to be. I like the upside of Ibuka, but I don't know how much I really trust Zach Robinson.
Yeah, isn't he a first-year play caller too?
He was with the Falcons, I believe, for 2 years with Raheem Morris.
Mm.
The Falcons had
First
some,
year in Tampa.
yes,
So,
the Falcons
yeah.
had some decent offenses, with Bijan, Drake London, and obviously all they had was a weird mixture of Kirk Cousins and Penix. So it's not like Robinson did insane, but I think we know at this point he's not one of the play callers of the league.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
I'm thinking
I
C
mean,
or D tier. I want to hear what you
I was
guys
gonna
have to
say
say.
D's a little harsh for me. I think. I mean, we got two quality starting wide receivers. I guess Bucky Irving is a mixed bag. Some people say he's worth, like, he's an actual startable,
Yeah.
awesome guy.
Injuries
Other
have been
people say
tough.
yeah. An all right O-line is a very C team to me.
Yeah, I actually started out this process with the Buccaneers in B, just thinking really good offensive line. Egbuka, I think, is good. Godwin, McMillan. And then I kept kind of digging into the rest of the teams, and they kept falling and falling and falling. They dropped all the way to 27 for me, which I was shocked by after going through the whole process.
Yeah.
I'll keep referring back to this. This is the main stat I looked at for offensive line play. The Buccaneers were 15th in pass block win rate and 27th in run block win rate.
Yeah.
Now,
That can't be dangerous with injuries and what that matters on what the OC did last year too.
right. But it does give you a general feel of how successful their offensive line was blocking last year. Now the difference between 27 and 14 is like 1%, 2%.
Yeah.
So it's not that telling, but it also influenced a lot of my thinking here. I think putting Buccaneers in C tier is totally fine. I have them in D, but I'm not really
Yeah.
attached to it.
They were at 21 on my list. I like Godwin and Ibuka enough. I like Wirfs. Zach Robinson, we know, is at least going to hit a floor. Tight end is deep, or tight end is weak. Running back is weak, and that line is just average, I'd say.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
we're going to move on to the Detroit Lions. Miles, what are you thinking
Can I
of the
hit this
Detroit
one?
Lions? Oh, yeah, I'd love, Connor, if you to take this one. Take some initiative and
This
slap
was-
us.
This honestly was my only clear S. This was
Really?
an S for me. Yes.
All the way up in
Yes,
the S. What you got for the Lions?
I dove in. I'm just like, I mean, outside of their play caller, I don't think I hate a single part of this team. I think it's like, I think they have an elite offensive line. Jahmyr Gibbs is the real deal.
Yep.
You could make a case that he is a top 2 running back in the league.
Yeah, I'd make it.
And you got St. Brown, JMO, and like a deep wide receiver room past that they can all play football.
Sla.
Tesla is a red zone magnet. Laporta, he doesn't have necessarily the receptions anymore, but he's still that guy at tight end. And it's just they have the supporting cast and the stars, and I think that's why Jared Goff was able to insert himself and stay relevant as a quarterback in the league. Is that supporting cast? The only kind of question mark I had was the play caller here, but I still think it's a clear S for me.
Maz, what you thinking?
So Connor, did you say this is your only clear S team?
My only clear S team.
I had the Lions in C tier.
No way.
Yeah.
No shot.
Defend
No
yourself.
The Lions last year in pass block win rate were 31st at 56%. And that's not a small difference. The Packers, who were 6th, had a 69% win rate, 14% higher. Now, they gained Blake Miller in the draft, a guy who I'm not very fond of, but I think will help improve their run game. And then they didn't add much on the interior. On the outside, they had Jamison Williams, a guy who I think is okay. Tesla, fine. Amon-Ra, obviously great. I like Laporta, but not a great blocker. Doesn't provide a lot in that. And then Jahmyr, who's great. And then I don't believe in their play caller. They brought in the guy from Arizona,
Drew
Drew
Petzing.
Petzing.
Petzing. I don't have a lot of conviction that Petzing's going to be a top 20 play caller. I love Jahmyr. I love Amon-Ra. But outside of that, as someone who's going to be offensive line oriented in this, they haven't shown a track record recently to have success after Ben Johnson. Post Ben Johnson, this hasn't been an awesome unit. And Ben Johnson's very clearly shown that he carries, you'll tell by my S tier, a little hint, he carries offenses by himself. And I think post Ben Johnson, the Lions don't have much of a claim to be an S or A, in my opinion. I can see B, but that's my opinion.
Well, the thing is,
Connor,
it's
go
very
ahead.
possible that you weighted the coordinator higher than I did. That's very real. You could possibly, very really, you could have done that. But I think if just looking at the players, I don't think you can say C. You can look at the actual anecdotal results from last year. I would still blame that in play caller, and they did switch out. And so I'm trusting the talent that they have.
Yeah, it was play caller and offensive line for me. And ever since Taylor Decker left, their center retired, things have just not been the same culture-wise for them. Even when Dan Campbell switched to calling plays last year, their offense was still a bit lethargic. They relied on Jahmyr and Amon-Ra.
I got to chime in here soon, fellas.
Yeah, let's hear it.
I had the Lions at number 2 on my list.
Yeah.
I think that I've looked at the pass rush and run block win rates. I think it can depend on what's going on. Like sometimes you may let someone win a rep if that's not the intent of the rep. The Lions were top 5 or maybe top 7 in scoring last year. I can see I know they scored 480 points. That's usually in the top 5 range. Depends on exactly last year. And the OC, their initial hire, I can't remember his name right now. It didn't work out very well. But as they shifted to letting Dan Campbell call plays, it went well. Things started moving around. And now they have Drew Petzing coming in. I don't love Drew Petzing, but I think it's good enough to where he can run the Ben Johnson offense. He can take the elements that were successful 2 years ago, and Dan Campbell can focus on calling, being the game manager and not having to call plays. But if you just look at Amon-Ra, Penei Sewell, Jamison Williams, Sam Laporta, Jahmyr Gibbs, and I think they have enough pieces at O-line. It's not great. Blake Miller should help. Interior is iffy. They got Cade Mays from the Panthers. I just think there's too many elite players, and I think they have enough of the Ben Johnson scheme left in Dan Campbell that, they were top 5, top 7 offense last year, and I don't think it was Jared Goff doing it. I think it was the rest of it.
I feel strongly they shouldn't be an S tier. I'm fine with putting them in A.
I just think
Yeah.
the scheme is not going to be that much different than Ben Johnson, because I think the Dan Campbell, Drew Petzing hive mind is going to like spam what they were already good at.
But we know that just scheme doesn't make the difference. It's play calling and feel in and of itself that makes the difference. A lot of people try and imitate scheme across the league every year. Everyone tries to feel from
Yeah, and Dan Campbell did
Shanahan.
it in the back half of
but
last year.
Their offense is not what it was with Ben Johnson.
I'll just say it's just points for, because I don't have better stats from me right now. They scored 460 in 2023. They scored 480 in 2025. So it wasn't. They had the number one overall year was 2024, but they were a really good offense last year. Their defense wasn't that great, and they also lost a lot of close games.
I don't think that you can put a team in S tier that doesn't have we even know anything about him that to be good as a play caller at all, and then his offensive line where we know has one good player.
Yeah, just
like play caller and O-line are the two biggest things to me.
Yeah, I just think if you put Jared Goff on another team I have rated highly, like let's say the Broncos, or Jared Goff on the Lions, I think the Lions offense would be better than the Broncos offense. Just because of some of the magic that's going on there. The like Ben Johnson aura, like Sean Payton, he has that name that's gone on for a long time. And let's actually bring up the Broncos, because I think this is going to be a good comparison.
I think just to wrap my head around it, Miles, like if you were a quarterback and you won and you were able to choose any team, why would you not choose a team with the top 2 running back and offensive weapons that know can catch the ball?
A top 2 tackle, a top 5 receiver, a top 2 running back, a top 10 tight end. The wide receiver 2 is decent.
Because
wide receiver 3 and 4 are decent.
The two biggest variables to me by far are play caller and then O-line play as an entirety.
I think the O-line play was better than what stats you're looking at last year.
I felt like they were porous last year, and Jameer got hit behind the line a lot.
I think the interior
Jameer made plays out
off.
of it. I feel like their interior was really bad, terrible, and there's a reason they didn't win a lot of games. Their defense was also bad, but I don't trust their
top
offensive
7 in scoring. So I just don't know how you.
It's because their defense was terrible, and they're fucking slinging it. They have a high tempo. Like they're a fine offense, but I don't think they're elite like they used to be with Ben Johnson. I don't think it's close. So the two most important variables to me: offensive play caller, and then offensive line talent as an entirety, as a group. Penei Sewell, awesome, top 3 tackle in the NFL, probably second or first. After that, we don't know anything about their offensive line.
Yeah.
None of those guys are proven. Amon-Ra's
Cade
great.
Mays was decent. Ratledge was decent for a rookie. Probably, you could project slight increase. Mahogany played well under Ben Johnson. He was slightly injured last year, played worse. And Blake Miller's a first-round tackle. This unit could easily play as a top 10 unit. It could play as a bottom 10 unit, or I don't think it could. But like, it is not dead. They have Larry Borum and Juice Scruggs as depth, whose guys have played in the league.
Let's say optimistically, in my opinion, optimistically, the Lions are like the 12th best offensive line. After that, we don't know anything about Drew Petzing being a competent play caller, and that by itself eliminates them from S tier.
Yeah, but it's Dan Campbell and Drew Petzing.
Yeah, but Dan Campbell's not like this genius play caller.
Then how did they have a top 5 offense once the OC left?
I'd have to look at the numbers. I don't know.
I would like them to stay in S for now. I think
that's fine.
I would like them
we
to
have
stay
2
in S
S'ers. Okay.
All right, so Broncos.
Miles, you want to jump into Broncos? I feel like you maybe have an opinion for them.
Broncos. I had Broncos as my 3rd overall rated team in A tier, just outside of S tier. Especially at the Waddle acquisition, I feel strongly about them. The Broncos were 8th in pass block win rate and 4th in run block win rate, both top 10 in the league, why they considered to be the best offensive line in the NFL last year, outside of maybe the Bears. And, 2 years ago, the Eagles were prominent, but they fell off. Great offensive line that has depth, Bowles on the outsides, and all-pro. And then adding Waddle kind of fills in a gap in their offense they need skill-wise that was really hard to replace. Sutton and Waddle complement each other so nice, and then they have unlimited depth behind them in terms of guys. They're great wide receiver 3s. Troy Franklin. Ingram at tight end, whatever. I was kind of hoping they get Sadiq. Obviously, he didn't fall that far. Um, and I just kind of projected this at Sean Payton's offense. I don't know if that's too optimistic based on them bringing in their replacement play caller. What's his name? The old quarterback,
Davis Webb.
Davis Webb. I'm not super attached to the Broncos here at 3 for me, or even A tier. I could be fine putting them in B tier, but they kind of made their way to the top of the A tier. Looked at their offensive line, which has been good over the past 2 years, and then adding Waddle gives them an element they didn't have before. And they have 3 like at least decent running backs.
Yeah, I think between Dobbins, Harvey, and Coleman, those are all 3 fine running backs. I think the odds that one of them can kind of take charge, or if it's a committee, I think that's a very fine backfield to have if you're coming in as a quarterback.
Yeah, I also had the Broncos at 3. I would leave them still in my S tier. Maybe my S tier is going to be bigger than yours, is what it seems like. Haven't tiered them yet. It's just in my head. I really think that offensive line is the real deal. I think it's number 1. Just actual solid play from all 5. You really don't see that very often. And Quinn Miners is like that ace on the top that they have. And then
UW Whitewater product right there.
They're Wisconsin bred, born and bred. And I feel like the Jalen Waddle, like without Jalen Waddle, they'd be a top 10 somewhere in there. Now that they added that one more piece, I think it puts them in the S tier for me.
Matt's kind of convinced me that they deserve to be in the S. I had them in my A, but I think I'm fine going either way.
Maybe this is a fundamental difference here. I have 2 teams in my S tier. Okay. So, like, I consider S to be, like, exceptional. If you get dropped in this situation, you're thrilled. So maybe that's part of the dichotomy here with the lines.
Let's put them in S for now, and then we'll leave them on the bottom. We can always adjust later. And then when we get to the end, let's get to the fringes, like the top of C or the bottom of B, and, like, let's look and try to isolate where the ends are. Okay.
I also had 2, Miles, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to move on to the Minnesota Vikings. And, Connor, I'm going to put you on the spot. What do you think about the Minnesota Vikings? You know, they're at least average, so I'm going to put them on the board at C for now. What are you thinking?
I really think it's hard for me to view this team because of the quarterback play. I think that I'm biased towards all the play of the supporting cast because the quarterback play brought everyone down.
Totally.
Last year. And so in my head, I'm like, it could be a C or D, but then also, Kevin O'Connell, Justin Jefferson, TJ Hawkinson. What are we talking about? What are we talking about? It seems like it's like a B, C tier for me if I just remove quarterbacks and remove my bias and look at players objectively. Because Kevin O'Connell is a dog. He is that play caller. He is one of the best play callers in the league.
Matt, what do you got?
Yeah, I feel like I at first was like, well, the Vikings are going to be really high. And then I'm like, well, they were bad last year, so they're going to be really low. And I'm making my list. And it's the mid-tier, like everyone between 10 and 25. That was the hardest part of this list for me to rank. I think my B and C tiers might be really big once it all said and done. I ended up with the Vikings at 15 on my list. I think the fact that Jefferson is legendary is a big benefit. I don't honestly know how much I value Addison and Hawkinson. I think they're fine. But then I looked at their O-line. I think Christian Darrisaw and Brian O'Neill both had injury trouble. So if they can have healthier seasons, Donovan Jackson and Will Fries solid at guard. Only weaknesses are really center and running back, but I like Kevin O'Connell enough, so I think they should be in the B tier.
Yeah, I had the Vikings at 8 for me on my list.
Ooh.
Not super attached to that. I just think that the McCarthy stuff is super clouded over
Totally.
what was a great offense for years with a competent quarterback play. We know what this looks like. We know McCarthy's terrible. We all watched him. We know what it looks like with like Kirk Cousins, who's league average at best in his prime, maybe 10th best in his prime. Darnold, who's maybe the 14th best quarterback in the NFL. With competent quarterback play, with relatively the same system around them, we know what this is. It's easy to let McCarthy get into your head, but like if they have a competent quarterback, Jefferson's a top 3 receiver. I still think Addison's good. I understand the off-the-field stuff has not worked against him. He's not a great run blocker, but I think he's an awesome separator and a great wide receiver too. I am losing my faith in Hawkinson. I'm not as high as him.
Yeah, the injury's been tough for him.
25th in pass block grade. I know this isn't perfect, but it's just my general reference.
Yeah, no.
Third in run block grade. Running backs aren't great. I like Mason. I still think Aaron Jones has a little bit of juice, but I'm just going to trust Kevin O'Connell and Justin Jefferson. And I think if you get a competent quarterback in there, it's just definitely a top 12 unit.
I think 8 is fair because I do think Darisaw is our left tackle, and I think he was out like the entire season. I remember seeing Justin Skule, Skule, and like Parsons was dominating him. Aiden Hutchinson was dominating him. I remember that a lot. So we think B or A for now.
I'm fine with either.
I think B makes sense for me.
I'm at the top of tier B. So,
all right, I'm gonna move on to the Giants. Plop them in. My first note I have down: Matt Nagy doesn't have it. So that's really going to color what I have overall with the Giants. I think some aspects of their roster are really good. That's what I said. I struggled to rank a lot of these parts. Another thing that's hurting them is the fact that this Malik Neighbors injury, we just don't know what he's going to be. Like the fact that it's extending, they had to do a cleanup surgery. He might play week 1, but when is he going to be full strength? Scadaboo also is coming back from an injury. I like Harbaugh. I'm excited for this trajectory in general, but the offensive line, they have Andrew Thomas. They brought in Maui Noah. Guard, center, guard, all decent guys, names but besides Malik Neighbors, it goes Darnell Mooney, Darius Slayton. To me, all that combined with Matt Nagy, I'd probably put him in the D tier right now.
Yeah. Honestly, the Giants were the team that made me ask the question when we were deciding about this episode, whether or not it was from like a GM fan overall team, like career perspective of like, if I was a quarterback, what team would I want to go on for the longevity side of it? Or is it just for this year? Because the Giants, it's like right now, I don't know. I don't want to be a part of that. But if it is future thinking, I'm like, I could play 3 years there. I'd rather play 3 years there than 3 years in other systems. But right now, you guys hit us spot on. I wouldn't move them any higher than D.
Yeah, I feel strongly they're a tier D team to me. Given they have Neighbors, their offensive line 11th and 18th, pass block, run block, very average against a last place schedule, but certainly better than you would think it would be. Andrew Thomas was great for them last year, left tackle, back to playing at an all-pro level. And I think Maui Noah is going to be awesome for them. He'll be as solid as guard, and then once Illuminor moves out, I think he'll be at least a decent right tackle in the future. I'm glad they didn't take a wide receiver this year. Like, I'm glad they didn't take Tyson. That it feels a little bit aggressive given the capital you spend on Neighbors. Take the offensive line guy. At the same time, there's a reason that the Chiefs let go of Nagy, and there's a reason he was the last OC hire.
Oh, yeah.
Like, we know what this guy is.
They wanted Todd Monken.
Special. Yeah.
They were really hoping to get Todd Monken. He went to the Browns, and Matt Nagy it is, because I'm Harbaugh, and I like proven names.
Right. So, D's good to me.
All right, Miles, I'm going to put you on the spot. The 49ers are up next. They have Kyle Shanahan, so they're going to be B or above. What do you got on the 49ers?
So, the Niners, I think if you take – so, the important question is, if you take away Kyle Shanahan –
and guns don't exist.
And guns don't exist.
Yep.
In my mind, they're in C tier. However, with Kyle Shanahan, I think they're firmly in A tier. Kyle Shanahan by himself is a walking top 10 offense. We've seen this year over. It's just literally been. There's too much of a sample size now for us to think anything else than that. He's putting together great offenses with terrible quarterbacks. Their roster not super excited about anybody. Reedy Kittle coming off an Achilles.
Totally.
Pearsall constantly injury prone. Ayuk's out the door.
Got shot.
They bring in Stribling from Ole Miss, who's hopefully a downfield threat, but he's already 24
Gets
and
dropped
he was a
in
late
Dynasty.
riser.
Clearly he sucks. He's not worth rostering in Dynasty.
They still have their left tackle. Christ, I'm blanking on
Trent
his
Williams.
name. Trent Williams, but he's 36, so that is very quickly approaching like
Yeah.
the end of his career. And if it wasn't for that, they might even be a D tier team if we didn't have the Kyle Shanahan bias. They don't really have a lot around him. McCaffrey's good, but he's going to get hurt this year. We know how this goes with a guy who had that much workload this past year.
Maybe.
Yeah.
It hasn't
be
worked
shocked
for
if he
others,
didn't.
but it might
I don't
work
know
for
why
us.
you're so low on CMC, Miles. Like,
I
if
think
was a
CMC is
quarterback-
great. I
'Cause
just
he's
think
white.
If I was a quarterback this year, I'd be ecstatic to have, in my opinion, the best pass catching running back in the league.
He will get hurt this year. I guarantee
And
it. He had
slightly.
450 touches last year, 50 more than anyone else in the NFL.
You don't know why? Because he's one of the best supporting role members.
Because
of
he
an
was,
offense.
and he's the least efficient he
best.
ever was.
Shanahan could
Well, it's
not
because
resist.
of supporting
29.
cast, yeah, couldn't resist him.
I had
Shanahan
the
said, "This guy's too good. He's too much of an."
He is. but
I
he
had the
got
Niners at
overused.
5. I know Kittle's injured. I know Ayuk and Debo are no longer there. Like that's long gone.
Mm-hmm.
But they have Pearsall. If Pearsall can stay healthy, they have Mike Evans for 1 year. Stribling can be something. And remember we talked about Colton McKivitz, their right tackle, becoming good out of nowhere. A couple
Yeah.
other
Mhm.
Dominic Pooney, I think, is there. Trent Williams is still there, and ultimately, Kyle Shanahan's there.
Yeah, I had him at 4, and so them being in the A tier makes sense to me.
I had them at 4 too. We're all right in the exact same range.
Yeah. Okay, Connor.
Apparently, Miles hates him.
I'm spinning it over to you, to the Bengals that play the Joe Burrow offense. There's been a lot of conversation
Yeah.
online this past week about, is Joe Burrow good? All he does is stand in the shotgun and just do shotgun offense. Well, maybe that's because
Is
he's
Joe
good
Burrow
at it.
good?
But what do you think about the Bengals?
I think that you put him in a good spot. I would have him on fringe AB. And the thing is, like we talked about with the Vikings, how the quarterback play clouds the offense, the rest of the offense.
Yeah.
For some reason, the defense clouds the offense for the Bengals.
Because they don't win. Because they don't win.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Haven't made the playoffs in 3 years.
Which is crazy, by the way.
Putting up
I don't
like
think that's
50 points
Yeah.
a game.
3 years ago, Joe
could
Burrow
you-
says the window is my entire career because they asked, like, you think this window's closing? And yeah, maybe the window is closing.
Dude, imagine having a head coach where you have Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and T. Higgins, and you miss the playoffs 3 years in a row, and then you keep your job.
Yeah. We were trying to fire Zach Taylor so hard.
It's just whatever. That's the owner thing.
Yeah.
but-
But so the thing is, if you just look at their offense, if you say screw the record, screw the defense, screw everything about it, take Joe Burrow out of it, I think it's an A tier team. I'm like this offense is insane. Chase Brown, you're not gonna write home about Chase Brown and how good Chase Brown is, but you know what?
Dearest
He's a
mother,
respectable.
Today I witnessed a
He's a-
specimen on the football team, on the football field.
He's a respectable running back. You have the best wide receiver in the game and the best wide receiver 2 in the game.
Yep.
What do
How
you
is
have
that
for
not an A
Miles?
tier?
Yeah. So offensive line pilled. I started off with the Bengals in B tier. Nate Tice loves the Bengals offensive line. They were 28th in pass block, 10th in run block, so seemingly
Yeah.
average.
One thing I've heard about pass block for Joe Burrow is like they never have any run pass conflict for the defensive linemen, so they know when it's passing downs almost always. So there's not
Interesting.
they can just run whatever pass rush games they want to do. So like those stats are going to be down, but because Joe Burrow doesn't turn his back, he can also get the ball out sooner. So you can
Yeah.
lose your pass rush rep, and Joe Burrow can see it. So it's just they kind of play offense a little differently because of how little play action they use.
Obviously, Zach Browning was terrible for them
Oh,
last
yeah.
year.
Yeah.
I owned him in Dynasty, and I was like, Zach Browning season, baby, let's go.
His
Got
girlfriend
him in
wore
the
that
21st
bodysuit.
round. The what?
It went when he was really good 2 years ago. It was like this guy. Not only he's a legend at quarterback, look at his wife.
This guy's a stud. But when Joe Flacco got in there, even though he's 40, they were
Yeah.
good offensively.
I was going to bring that up. Yeah. And that's exactly what we're talking about.
Yep.
This is an exact case in point.
Zach Taylor doesn't do anything special, but just the floor with Chase, who I think is the kind of the consensus wide receiver one. I think there's a 4 receiver S tier in the NFL right now: Puka, JSN, Jettas, Jamar. I feel like the Bengals are pretty firmly in A tier. I had them 6th.
Yep, I
But
agree.
I'm fine
I had
with
him.
B.
I had him 7th. I agree. The Joe Flacco theorem, the clause, whatever, that's totally true. And also, I just wrote down Jamar and T are an offense on their own.
Yeah.
Okay. That moves me on to the Saints. And the Saints were also weird because I see their logo and I think bad. I think, no, don't touch that. Don't go close to that.
The same thing.
It's been a while since Drew Brees. But then looking into it, thinking about Kellen Moore, thinking about not only just Olave, he was actually healthy last year.
Jordan Tyson.
Let's go! Jordan Tyson's in, and we really started to like their O-line, the 2 young tackles. I think it's Fuanga and Calvin Banks. Or is it Fautano?
Yeah, well done.
I think
It's Fautano's
the Steelers.
Steelers.
Yes, Fuanga, and then they have Eric McCoy and David Edwards from the Bills. And they brought in Achane. So I really looked at this and
Formerly ETN.
yeah, formerly Travis Etienne changed his gender to Travis Achane. So I have the Saints at 11, but putting them in B feels low because I feel like they're better than the Vikings, but also they're not on the level of the Niners. So it's like, I don't know where I'm at. What do you guys think?
Not an A tier. I think they're a BC tier team.
C.
I think right now. Yeah. I think right now the Vikings are ahead of them. I think that they would probably be on this list. They'd probably be between the Vikings and the Buccaneers.
Okay. I had the Vikings a decent chunk below, but you guys both have the Vikings above.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I personally think it would be a little insane to put in last 8 weeks of the season bias to put the Saints ahead of the Vikings in terms of we have a very small sample size of them actually being good.
Yeah.
I know I'm pass block win rate, run block win rate pilled, but I like the metric to give us a general feel for where they were at in terms of how much success they had.
Look,
last year.
guys, I know. I know I'm pass blocking run blocker win rate.
Guilty.
pilled.
All right, you got me.
That's
What
a
do you want
crime.
here?
Lock me up. Lock me up.
29th pass block win rate, 23rd run block win rate last year. Now
Interesting.
developing tackles, good. Interior's fine. Everyone says they have a really good offensive line. I'm not sure the data suggests that yet. Really like Olave, injury prone. Really like Tyson, injury prone. ETN's fine. He's a league average running back-ish in my mind. I had him at the top of C, B. I totally agree with Connor. I think they're a BC team.
Yeah, I think I may have got a little bit too hyped up on the Saints because I like them. I think they're fun. So I think you guys are right.
All
Let's
right.
keep it
Okay.
B.
Moves it over to the Ravens. Miles is going to be up on the Ravens. They bring in Declan Doyle. It's a whole new thing. What do you think about the Declan Doyle Ravens?
So, in my head, I started off because of the Ravens, right? And you have Lamar bias. In my head, I started off with them at like 13, 14, which would be B tier for me. And they slowly fell and fell as I kept looking. Zay Flowers, who's a good wide receiver one, not a good run blocker, and only works out of the slot or Z, not next.
Yeah, his run block win rate, really low.
He cannot run block for
Trust
shit.
me, I've seen it. Rashad Bateman, very fine. After that, a lot of Tez Walker.
Yeah, dude, even Bateman, man, he was bad last year.
They lose likely. They still have Mark Andrews, who's
Old.
fine, I guess.
Getting old.
They add Ioane on the offensive line, which I like. Solid offensive line last year in terms of metrics. Derrick Henry aging, but I think if you take away Lamar from that equation, things start to fall away very quickly, and you start to kind of lose, like, what is this team's identity? Who are they if they don't have Lamar? I had them drop all the way down to 22 for me at the start of D tier. I'm totally fine with putting them in C. And B is even not that crazy to me.
And even A is like, yeah, totally. S, if you want to argue for S, that.
The thing is, I'm not a Zay Flowers guy. I'm not. I think with the right quarterback, Zay can shine. I don't think that Zay can just make any quarterback look good, like a Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase can make any quarterback look good. Derrick Henry, baller. I like their offensive line, but I just don't see all the pieces. Mark Andrews, I mean, he kind of fell off the past 2 years. I don't know why that actually happened in particular. He might jump back this year, I hope, fingers crossed. But I think I'm everything Miles said, I concur. Couldn't have said it better myself. I think it's probably D tier leaning C.
Same.
Yeah, I had him in the same exact spot. Only thing to add is that they lost Tyler Linderbaum, and now they have Corey Bullock in line to play center. And I don't know much about him, and he doesn't have much of a track record or high draft capital. So,
And they don't feel good about him because DaCosta offered Linderbaum a record-setting contract, but Linderbaum was like, "No, I'm going to take the other record-setting
Yeah.
contract. That's way
dude,
bigger."
I think the previous center contract was like 18.
yeah,
So they
fucking
probably
blew
offered him like
50%.
22 or something.
Dude, I'd love to know if that was the. I wonder if that was the largest percentage-wise.
I think I saw tweets about it. It was at least in like a long time. It's been a long time since we've seen anything like that.
Yeah,
All right, Connor.
makes
I'm gonna
sense
tee
for the
you up.
Raiders still.
I'm going to tee you up for the Dolphins. This is going to be a fun conversation. Remember, they have $180 million in dead cap. What do you got for them?
S.
Oh,
F.
Devon A. Chain.
That's the by
fastest
far
running back in the league.
yeah,
the clearest F tier to me. They have no idea who's going to catch the balls this year for them. I think Malik Willis is capital F ucked. And Devon Achan. I think if I were him, I don't know how I'd even feel.
got paid, got a
Yeah,
bag.
I guess. I don't even know why they kept him.
Yeah.
At this point, why don't you just sell it? Just sell the farm. Just
You might get a third
Tank.
for him.
Yeah, they bring in
Yeah.
Bobby Slowick. Remember, he was the OC with the Texans. Had a fun rookie season with C.J. Stroud. Then kind of fell off. Miles, what you thinking about the Dolphins here?
Yeah, so I was working my way down the list. I got to like 18, and I looked at all the rest of the teams, and I was like, I said, well, I know the Dolphins are at 32.
yeah.
And I worked my way back up from the
Yeah.
bottom. So
I started off. I had all my teams. I put them in 3 categories: good, medium, bad, so I could just get them somewhat organized before I put it farther. Then
Yeah.
the first thing I did after that was 32 Dolphins.
yeah,
Bobby
pretty easy.
Slowick is unproven. Chris Bell and Caleb Douglas as rookies at a receiver, I don't care about. Their best
I don't
season
know,
by
dude.
current receiver is Jalen Tolbert.
Hey, second round receiver, bro. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, dude, that's draft capital. You got to get your money up, get your capital up. And
I
honestly, go ahead.
I watched him running some YouTube short routes. Looks crisp. That's all I'm saying.
Hey, he's not
can-
saying anything more than that.
He can move, dude.
And then I think their O-line could be okay. I didn't love the pick for Proctor at like pick 12, wherever they were at.
No.
So they need Proctor to play well, and they need Savanaia to not be the worst guard in the league as he was last
Yeah,
year.
that is brutal. That is
So
brutal.
there's some
Traded up
upside
for
there,
him,
but
too.
I think this is an easy worst in the league.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That brings me on to the Patriots. Man, the Patriots was one of the teams I left to the end
Same.
because I was like, what are they? It feels like they're the Drake Matriots. That was off the dome.
Point it.
Like I don't know what they are
Patent
without.
that.
I don't know what they are without Drake.
Trademark
Like,
it.
Josh McDaniels, we've seen him succeed a lot with Brady. He had a good year with Cam Newton, a good year with Mac Jones, but then we've also seen him flame out whenever he's a head coach. But then I really dug into it. I'm like, okay, I'm assuming they have A.J. Brown in this exercise. Did you guys?
Same. I assume
Yeah.
the same.
Okay.
Yep.
So I'm looking at it. A.J. Brown, Romeo Dobbs, and some decent receiver depth behind that. Tight end's okay. It's just fine. And then, honestly, across their O-line, they have Mike Nwenu, Morgan Moses, Will Campbell, I think can be an average tackle next year if he's healthy again. He wasn't that bad before he was injured in the playoffs. I think in year 2
No.
he could maybe be average.
Aren't they moving him in?
So they
Nope.
signed Caleb Lomu in the
Drafted.
draft.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why I figured that was what the intention
Well, you
of-
draft him and then you sign him, Miles. I mean, you have to sign him after you draft him, don't you?
Usually people refer to draft first before
yeah.
they
Oh,
say
okay,
sign.
so we're gonna follow
They
everyone
signed
else
Caleb
now.
Lobo in the first round.
It's true.
Okay,
It's true. Lock me up.
Well, I'm
I
just
fucking
saying,
stated
well,
the
lots
fact.
of guys get drafted and don't sign. So,
It's true.
Well,
It's happened
I like the
before.
running
So-
backs. Good running back room.
Moses is 35. I think that's
Yeah.
why they drafted Lomo, is because Moses is out next year. And then if through training camp it's proven that Will Campbell is on par with Lomu, I think they'll move Campbell inside and then just toss Lomu out there right away.
They did sign, I think, Elijah Vera Tucker, former Jet that can never stay healthy but has played good in guard. So they do have a starting 5 right now. Lomu could sit for a year. But all that together, I ended up putting the Patriots at 13 on my board, and that would put them – oh, that's the Dolphins. That would put them, for me, above these two teams. I don't know what you guys think about here in B tier.
I'd probably put them between. I think the Vikings I'd have a little bit higher up solely because of my Kevin O'Connell.
A.J. Brown.
Stan.
And I think I just trust their O-line better. McDaniels, I think, is actually a pretty good coordinator. O'Connell's he's had really high passing volume offenses, but now his EPA per play numbers haven't been that great. Kevin O'Connell.
Let's keep this in mind, fellas. If Mac Jones was their quarterback last year, where do you think we would put the Patriots right now?
They added A.J. Brown and Romeo Doubs since then.
Right. Even that withstanding.
At 13, where I have him.
Really?
Yeah, I think they added Caleb Lomu, Elijah Vera Tucker, A.J. Brown, and Romeo Doubs, and they haven't lost anyone.
I just think they would have been a bottom 5 offense last year if it wasn't for Drake May.
No, I don't think. Mac Jones and Josh McDaniels had a good season with the Patriots in 2020.
In his first year, and then 2 years later, they were absolutely atrocious.
No, because McDaniels left to go to the Broncos.
And Mac Jones has small hands.
That too.
So the Patriots were top 13 in pass block run break last year, which is, I guess, something maybe to you. Mm-hmm. I think that's their terrible schedule. I think we're really letting Drake May terrible schedule tear us down. I had the Patriots in D. Yeah, I think that Drake May is just kind of really hauling us up.
Where's the hole? Like, you just hate Will Campbell, you hate Elijah Vera Tucker.
I'm just saying, if Drake May was not their quarterback last year, I think we would think about them in the same light we would of teams in D tier. Like,
Drake May
just really not that solid.
Had the most EPA per play in the league last year by far. You're saying he did that with a D tier offense around him? That would make him God at quarterback, like better than Mahomes.
He was last year against the NFL's worst schedule. Yes.
I know the schedule stuff. I've seen the stats. If you even isolate by opponent played, so you take the schedule into account, Drake May was still way past anyone last year. So even if you adjust for opponent played.
Yeah, I know that. I've seen those stats too. I just pretty strongly feel like they're not in the same conversation as the Vikings, personally.
What's so different about the Vikings have no center. Their tackles are injured off last year, so they have to get healthy again. Addison and Hawkinson are fine. How much different are Dobbs and Hunter Henry than Addison Hawkinson right now?
About the same-ish. I would take Addison Hawkinson.
Probably, but it's
pretty
close.
Firmly. And then I would take Jefferson very easily over A.J. Brown. Mm-hmm. And then I would take their offensive line generally over the Patriots, which 2 years ago was considered to be the worst in the NFL.
Yeah, but I would take Josh McDaniels over Kevin O'Connell.
What?
No shot.
For calling the
zero.
If you could put a random quarterback on this Patriots team with Josh McDaniels underneath Mike Vrabel, Vrabel is the head coach that gets to oversee McDaniels. He's not. He is only an OC. Every time he's been an OC in his career, he's lights out. Obviously, a lot of it's with Brady. But Kevin O'Connell,
the only reason why
he has all these high passing volume offenses.
In on Kyler is because of Kevin O'Connell. If it was because of Kevin O'Connell, I'd say no freaking shot. Kyler Murray has a chance to do anything.
Yeah, I don't feel the same way about McDaniels at all.
I think he just has sucked as a head coach, but Vrabel is the head coach. I just don't know, how could this be a bad offense, then add four good players, and be not a top 15 supporting cast?
I'm not.
You guys are saying Drake May is literally
no
God Slayer of gods, massive
you're
dog
saying
God.
You guys, you're bracketing me in to the Miles D tier.
I don't like the Vikings.
I'm saying that I don't think that they're better than the Vikings, and I think that they are better than the Saints. I think they should go in between.
Okay, well, 2 out of 3, I'll let you guys win, but.
Sorry, I think for the record, I think they should be in C, and I think by the end of the season it'll prove itself out.
I wouldn't be shocked. But
All depends on how good AJ
Yeah.
Brown is.
Okay. So they have the best offense in the league, and then or the best passing offense. The running game wasn't that great, and then they add Caleb Lomu, Elijah Vera Tucker, Romeo Dobbs, and AJ Brown, and then they suck. This is when the league's gonna know that they suck now.
I thought they sucked last year. I think Drake May's a top 5 quarterback.
No, you think if you think this, then you think he is one by far. You think he is over.
No,
the moon
that's not
number
true.
one.
It's one by far in the easiest schedule in the history of the NFL.
Then you don't believe the adjusted by schedule stats.
Those are also still inflated. Like
He
you
lit
can't
up the
truly
Browns last
adjust
year.
by schedule.
He demolished the Browns. And the week before the Packers couldn't score a point on the Browns, Drake May shred them to pieces.
Okay, the Packers struggled mightily against the Browns. A lot of other teams had good success against the Browns.
They were still top 5 or top 7 defense last year.
Okay, let's move on.
Okay,
all right, where are we at?
football
Where are we at?
frauds get heated. I guess I'm a Patriots guy. That's what I figured out about myself. We're going on to the Falcons. I think I led the Patriots, so Miles, you're going to lead the Falcons. The Kevin Stefanski, Tommy Reese Falcons.
The Kevin Stefanski, Tommy Reese Falcons, 14th pass block, 13th run block last year. They lose their right tackle, Caleb McGarry. He retires. They have a huge hole at right tackle. It's hard to not let the quarterback, shitty lefty with no right tackle thing, influence your thinking here. Their skill players are sick without depth. Bijan, I think the best running back in the NFL. Drake London, I think a top 9 receiver in the NFL. Sick X can work out of the slot and the Z as they moved around last year. Zach Robinson used him a lot of different ways. Pitts, I don't know what to think of. I don't know if he's good. I think he's good. I'm not really sure. He's probably good.
Didn't he have a 1-2-3-4 season?
Oh, for touchdowns?
So this year is 5.
I know.
He's destined for a
He's just got to play a
5-touchdown
long
game.
time.
I had the
23
Falcons
touchdowns.
at the top of C tier. That's where I had them. Because of Bijan and Drake London, and then I also am a firm believer in Stefanski. I think he was in an absolute dog shit situation with the Browns. I still believe him as a play caller. I think he's close to O'Connell. If we were ranking OCs, I would put him a few spots below. But I think Stefanski plus Bijan plus Drake London, and then offensive line is close to league average.
Stefanski is on my fraud list. He has been on my fraud list.
Right.
And that is the only reason I agreed with everything you were saying with the supporting cast outside of Stefanski. And that's why I drop him down a little bit, but you have him around where I would have him. I might have him below the Ravens in D, but I wouldn't be upset putting him at the end of C, just in my personal. So, yeah, take that for what it is worth.
I agree with Miles. I had him right at 17 league average. I like Stefanski and Reese. I don't love them. And I think between London, Pitts, and Bijan, pretty good skill group. And then the O-line, I think, is fine, or probably slightly above average. Okay, that moves us to the Buffalo Bills. They don't get to be the Buffalo Josh Allens in this scenario, which is kind of tough for them. So what do you got for them, Connor?
All right, I will just start the conversation off at A. I
Okay.
think that they deserve to be an A-tier team, and like you said, I struggled with the Bills because I have the elite offense, just anecdote of what they have done. I have that stuck in my head. Removing Josh Allen's hard because Josh Allen elevates everyone around him.
Because he's hard, yeah.
James Cook, love James Cook right now. I think James Cook is a good running back. I don't think he's a great running
Rip
back.
James Cook.
Boom, boom, boom.
But he's a good running back. They have a ton of wide receivers that can do something. You know, I don't think that they're amazing. I'm not a big DJ Moore fan. As we know that he is butt rocketed.
What?
He's the butt rocket.
You don't like DJ Moore? They traded a second-round pick for
Dude,
him.
you
Hey.
betrayed us.
He got a huge extension.
Yeah. I think DJ Moore will be elevated with Josh Allen, but I don't know how much and how much it really changes it. I think I have them end of A, top of B is where I'd have the Bills in my personal rankings. And Joe Brady, the best thing that happened to Keon Coleman was Joe Brady.
True.
So Who
Ooh,
knows?
That's good.
True.
Who
What
knows
you
what's
got,
going to
Miles?
happen here?
So I had the Bills in the exact same spot that Connor did.
Uh-oh.
So in my head, thinking of the Bills, I've always thought about Josh Allen as somebody who had a poor supporting cast and who lifted it up because I'm just used to thinking about receivers. And then I looked at their offensive line numbers the past few years. 4th in pass block win rate, 1st in run block win rate. That doesn't mean nothing. Now they lose, I believe it was David Edwards to the Saints.
Yeah.
They replace him with Alec Anderson, who's a complete unknown. Other than that, they keep their starting 5, Spencer Brown at right tackle, Osiris Torrance, and then their stalwart Deion Dawkins at left tackle, McGovern up the middle. I feel good still about their offensive line. I think Cook's not a top 6 running back, but firmly in the 6 to 10 range, like very good between the tackles despite being 195 and not having the weight. At wide receiver, I don't believe in many of the guys they have. Shakir's good as a slot. DJ Moore is he's a Z receiver that exists.
He exists.
Kincaid is very fine at tight end. Knox is fine. Their offensive line's what buoys this for me. And I'm probably Josh Allen pilled because I think that if they didn't have Josh Allen, we'd think about them as a B tier team. I had them in A and, right kind of on the cusp of A and B, just like Connor.
Yeah. You guys are kind of convincing me, but do you want to see where I had him in my rankings?
Yeah.
And I probably am wrong about this, but this is where I put him. I put him in C, but between above the below the Falcons. I think I just basically took a negative perspective on every single aspect of their roster. Like, I looked at their wide receiver room and I was like, Shakir, small guy, can't do anything downfield. DJ Moore, honestly, could be dead. Unless he locks a frickin', I just don't know how valuable he really is. Maybe Ben Johnson's scheme was just more advanced, and that's why I didn't go as well. Maybe in a more simple scheme like Joe Brady's, he's going to pop up again. I really don't think Joe Brady's very good. Like, I just remember Kip, every time they had a third down passing scenario, it would always be running the concept mesh over and over again. And then
It's a dig over the middle.
The defense
Crossers in the bottom, dig over the middle.
like that, they still just kept calling it, and basically Josh Allen had just had to figure it all out on his own. And I do agree the O-line is amazing, but I was just looking at it. They lost David Edwards, don't have a really solid replacement for him. And then I'm like, Spencer Brown and Deion Dawkins are getting older. And James Cook is really good. I'm not going to say anything bad about James Cook. And I like Kincaid for a receiving tight end. But I just was like, without Josh Allen, how good is Joe Brady really? Is Joe Brady like a bad coordinator? He very well could be.
Who the fuck knows? Josh Allen's the type of guy where it doesn't matter.
And then
doesn't matter.
And then I just kind of thought about everything in a negative light. So they probably should be in B if I could think about it now. But if you guys both have an A, that's the tiebreaker.
Well, I had him at the back of A, top of B. And so
I could be.
If you're leaning C, top of B sounds perfectly fine to me.
I don't like them next to these two teams, but A tier might get bigger.
Let's put them in B tier.
Top of B makes
Top
sense.
of B.
Yep.
Yeah, that
I
feels
like
that feels good to me.
Okay. Wait, who led in with the Bills? Connor did?
I did, and I put him at A.
So I'm going to have to hit on Steelers. Yeah, this is another just what the F is this team.
Can I take Steelers?
Yeah, go ahead. I'll go next after you because it's so weird.
So I ended up being way higher on the Steelers than I thought I would be. I had them at
Was
10.
it their pass block win rate and run block win rate?
It might have been.
No, it would have nothing to do with that. It's just that they were 3rd in pass block win rate and 9th in run block win rate, top 10 in both. They have DK
That's
Metcalf.
shocking.
They have Michael Pittman Jr. They bring in Jeremy Bernard. They have Pat Freiermuth, who was ass last year, but there might have been injuries. Very solid offensive line. Good receivers. And I think, once again, if it wasn't for Aaron Rodgers there, if we dropped in Josh Allen under the Steelers, I think we would keep them right in the same tier as them. Now,
The Steelers are better than the Patriots.
I still had yes, I think so.
It's okay. I just got to find my organs. Lost them somewhere.
So I had the Steelers in B tier. Yes, B tier. I don't think they're an A tier team. I don't think they're better than the Bills or Vikings, but I do think they're better than the Patriots and Saints. If they were C, it wouldn't be crazy to me either.
What'd you have, Connor?
What is their run game? What's the run game? I don't see that.
Yeah, it was fine last year, and I think that they do have solid pieces. They got a guy
Caleb
over Broderick
Johnson.
Jones.
And then is Gainwell even still on the team?
No, they brought in Rico Dowdle, and they still have Jalen Warren.
I kind of am a Rico Dowd guy. I don't know. Why
He's
I said
fine.
That. All right,
I think their
He's fine.
center guard is pretty good. Like their center is all pro. I forget his name. Zach Frazier,
Matt?
I think.
No, not Matt. Zach.
And then they brought in another tackle. Did they take?
They took Yoncher.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Yoncher. And
It's all actually making sense now, Matt. Why Miles had him so high?
we like Fuanga. My thought, I had the Steelers at 26. I was like,
I didn't have him at 26. I had him in my C tier. I had him like at the top of the C.
yeah, I don't think I would be able to put them in D. Like D and F are pretty small tiers for me. But I just think Mike McCarthy, all we've ever seen him do is make good offenses with Aaron Rodgers in his prime and Dak Prescott in his prime. What have we seen for he can make prime Aaron Rodgers and prime Dak Prescott, who have both had amazing offenses without Mike McCarthy. So I'm going to put Mike McCarthy pretty low. I'm kind of ageist when it comes to offensive play callers. I haven't seen too many guys in their 50s who have let us down before, then come back and be oh, actually I'm really good. So I put Mike McCarthy low. I'm picturing a neutral quarterback with Mike McCarthy, Metcalf and Pittman. I feel like we know their names, but I don't know how much they actually on an average offense with an average with an average quarterback. And I do like their O-line. I wouldn't be able to put them in D tier, but I had them in back of C in my own rankings.
The thing is, I actually am higher on Pittman. The combination of Pittman and Metcalf, I am, at least for this next season. I think I would, if my goal was to win a Super Bowl, I wouldn't be upset about those two people being my wide receivers, 1 and 2. And so I think I'm a little bit higher than you, but I'm also lower than Miles.
Okay, we decide where they go.
And my gut says that I'm admittedly high in them. However, I think Bernard fits in nicely. Jeremy Bernard, the wide receiver from Alabama, fits in nicely as a wide receiver 3. And you guys know I love Yoncher, who fixes the main hole in their offensive line, Broderick Jones.
Yeah.
Matt, if you want to say C tier, I'm totally open to that. In my gut, I'm like, this seems way too high. I just looked at the numbers, I thought about what I thought, and I kind of put them there.
What do you think about here, guys? Above the Falcons at the top of C?
I like him above the Falcons. But also part of me is below the Saints.
You like it here. Here's my thought about that pass block win rate. Aaron Rodgers had the shortest time to throw in the last 5 years. And so he was a shotgun quarterback with short time to throw. Joe Burrow is a shotgun quarterback with a long time to throw. That's why his pass block win rate numbers are terrible, because he asked all of his guys, last as long as possible, and I will get the ball out. Aaron Rodgers is I will get the ball out no matter what you do.
Okay, guys, I get it. I'm way too indexed on pass block and run block win rate. Yes, Matt, you're right.
Okay. Here is where we are probably agreed.
Let's do it.
I think let's go there.
I guess so. I'm going to hit the Bears because Miles took the Steelers. Yeah, I didn't like putting them this high because just felt icky about it. But
Yes, is it S?
I put them at 4. So it was going to be probably the top of my A tier because there's just
That's where I had them.
some holes in the roster. But I wrote down Ben Johnson at the beginning and end of my notes. And then I just said Rome, Burden, Loveland, Swift, Kmet, Darnell Wright, Joe Tooney, decent other
Monangai.
Yeah, put Monangai there too.
True RB1 in my opinion.
And that would just Ben Johnson. I think the rest of the roster is probably 13th with the average coordinator, but they got Ben Johnson, and I think going to year 2, even if it wasn't Caleb Williams, even if it was, I don't know, Baker Mayfield, I think this offense would be really good with Ben Johnson in that supporting cast. So, yeah, I put him above Kyle Shanahan just because the Niners have more...
Worse offensive line, worse skill players.
Yeah, more holes to fill, even though I still would probably take Shanahan over Johnson as just a coordinator, but
Not
the
me.
roster is in a reset point.
I like it right where it's at. I think that is stupendously put.
So I had the Bears at 2.
Damn.
S tier. And I feel pretty strongly about it. I think it's very well entrenched now. You can't really deny in my mind that Ben Johnson's a top 3 play caller in the NFL. I'd put him at 1.
I'd put him at. You can't unseat Sean McVay for me.
I think Sean McVay is working with Puka, Stafford, a good offensive line, and I think Ben Johnson's done it at each stop, and he just lifted up year 2 Caleb Williams
But
like it was
he
fucking
created
nothing.
Puka. Puka didn't exist before Sean McVay built. Like it's like the God story. It's like Adam and Eve.
Yes, but Puka's
Sean
awesome in the
McVay
vacuum.
in the beginning. In the beginning was the word, and Sean McVay created Puka.
So it's a toss-up between Shanahan, McVay, Johnson. I would take Ben Johnson in my mind.
Okay.
I think that Caleb was good, surprisingly inaccurate last year when you watch the games. He misses a lot of wide open throws. He misses wide up high a lot.
Yep.
Loveland, I think, is in contention. Maybe this is a hot take, I think pretty firmly entrenched as a top 5 tight end
Yeah. Top 5 for sure.
in my mind. I still like Adunze. That's probably my draft bias. I liked him before the draft a lot. He has not panned out to that extent, but he's a solid X.
Yeah.
Burden's good as a slot. I love Monangai. I think Swift is fine. Darnell Wright at right tackle, I think, is a top 4 or 5 tackle, top 6 tackle, probably the NFL. Great run blocker. And then the Ben Johnson effect around him. Okay, don't make fun of me. First in pass block win rate, 5th in run block win rate, top 5 in both. Joe Tooney, offensive protector of the year last year in the interior. Yeah. Their interior is old and aging quickly, but I'm fine with putting them in A, to be honest, but I would very confidently put them ahead of the Broncos and the Lions, in my mind, in terms of the play caller, ceiling, the weapons, and the offensive line.
Yeah. I like Ben Johnson, and I watched all the snaps I had last year, and like he's super creative. Sometimes he's like, granted in year 1 of an offense, it's hard. We saw with the Lions, he got better every year. So maybe I'm just thinking of the year 1. There's lots of time where he calls creative plays, and it's like, what the hell is happening here? Like nothing coherent comes out of it.
It's year 1.
But that could all be the year 1 thing. I think I can't tuck myself into the offense that much because I believe Caleb Williams is a top 12 quarterback, or maybe will be by the middle of next season, like once we see it. So if I really think that this surrounding scheme is number 2 and Caleb Williams is top 12, then we should have a top 4, 5 offense next year, and I just don't think that's quite going to happen yet. So I like him better at 4 than at 2, but what do you think, Connor? A or S?
I like him at the top of A. I think that's where I had him. And in my rankings, I had them at 5. And so top of A makes sense for me.
Okay. We'll leave him there for now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Seeing the teams that we have left.
Leaves. I'm going to smash the Commanders onto Connor. They got rid of, not Clint Kubiak. What's his name? Cliff Kingsbury, the other double K coordinator. They got rid of Cliff Kingsbury, brought in David Blau. It's still Dan Quinn. What do you think about the Commanders?
So, I thought I was higher on the Commanders. I think that right now, like on this list, I'd have them below the Giants. Above, yeah. I think that their best acquisition was Chigo Konkwu, and he did fine with the Titans last year. He was, I think, undeniably, he was Cam Ward's favorite target. I mean, I think at least in terms of percentage wise completion, best target. But outside of that, Ja'Cory Crossy-Merritt, I don't see anything happening there. I think they're in running back limbo.
Totally.
I don't know how they're going to have a run game. And the fact that Jaden Daniels got hurt and then they ended up being like one of the worst teams in the league, just disgusting to watch. That is all the evidence I really need. Terry McLaurin, sick. I still like Scary Terry. I think that he's been one of my favorite wide receivers to watch.
It's not his fault. Everything else around him is kind of bad.
But then you got Treylon Burks. Miles loves to bring up Treylon Burks as like the draft bust of the wide receiver world.
Yeah, like you could trade Stephon Diggs to get Justin Jefferson, or you can trade A.J. Brown to get Treylon Burks. Those happen within like a year of each other.
Yep. People were high on Antonio Williams. They drafted him. He's a wide receiver. He showed to get a lot of playing time this year, but even at that, not that great of a pass catching option. If you're just going to walk in as a quarterback, what's this room like? Who can I trust? Wouldn't trust Antonio Williams. Their offensive line, I like Tunsil and I like Connerly. Don't like their interior at all.
Yeah.
Miles, what was their pass rush win rate or pass block win rate and
And their
run block
penis
win rate?
length, please.
So I don't give a bunch of merit
Tell
to
me
the
when to stop.
Commanders' pass block, run block win rates 18 and 21 last year. I started them off in the 22 range, and I don't feel strongly about this at all. It just kind of happened by default. I had the Commanders at 31.
Yeah.
I don't think that's like
I had him
crazy,
at
but
30.
you could put them in D tier for me. I don't think they belong in C tier.
No, I have him in D.
Connerly was good down the stretch for them last year, and Tunsil's still very good. On the interior, they do have Sam Cosmi. Sam
Yep.
Cosmi is a very good interior player, but he was hurt for them last year. They lost Biotish to
Yep.
the Chargers, who was a solid center for them. Biotish barely got paid any money, so they must feel good about their new starting center, Nick Allegretti. McLaurin, injury-prone, old. In my opinion, kind of relies on explosiveness on deep routes, and I'm getting concerned about him being their wide receiver one.
If McLaurin gets injured again like he has been and he's getting older, they can't throw to anyone. There are no bodies left.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I think where we've got him right now, it just kind of illustrates to me how awesome Jaden Daniels is. Even though they weren't that good last year, they looked like a league average offense.
Yeah. Well, also that
Can we move
Go
the
ahead.
Commanders into F tier? That just blows my mind.
That's
Is
where I had
Jaden
him.
Daniels really that great?
I think that we
Holy
should make
crap.
it an F plus tier for the Dolphins probably,
Yeah.
but I'm okay with the Commanders in F.
Yeah. Jaden, it makes sense to me kind of how he himself can orchestrate an offense given how he is kind of a one-of-one offense in and of himself in the same way that Lamar is in terms of see a read, and then if nothing's there, you just take off right away. That lends itself to
Yeah.
not having good receivers or good offensive line. Like you can kind of just exist with that on its own.
I think what they had 2 years ago was kind of like lightning in a bottle. It's not an offense we've seen be successful year after year after year, but the Cliff Kingsbury, Jaden Daniels connection was spiritual, and it happened and it was exciting, but it also just went away just as quick. Speaking of Cliff Kingsbury, I'm going to go up with the Cardinals. Man, when I first started this list, I put Cardinals in bad in my 3 categories. I'm like, Cardinals, bad, they're the Cardinals. And then I pull up the depth chart, and I think about it, and I'm like, okay, this is not the reason why the Cardinals are bad.
Yeah.
Then I was like, I was going to put them high. I'm like, this is a high. I had the whole gambit with the Cardinals. I ended up thinking that they're pretty much league average. I have hope for Mike LaFleur as the brother of Matt LaFleur, who's been around Shanahan McVay systems his whole life.
Yeah.
Just was the OC for the Rams. And then if you just look at the pass catchers, we like Trey McBride. We like Marvin Harrison. We have hope that he can get better. And
Yeah,
then even
and-
Michael Wilson is some weird hybrid of like potentially elite at times when he needs to be.
Added Kendrick Bourne as well, he's
Yeah.
proved to be just
He's
a
a body.
player.
That's helpful.
Yeah, a body. Yeah.
They just brought in Jeremiah Love. They have Paris Johnson. They
Good
brought
player.
in a guard, Isaac Sayamalu
Jeremi-
from the Steelers.
But also Jeremiah Love, Algier, and James Conner, and Trey Benson.
That's weird. I've seen some people talk about, will the Cardinals trade one of those guys to the Packers?
Please trade Trey Benson. Please trade Trey Benson.
Trey Benson to the Packers would be sick. Or Algier.
You know, it's quick side story.
Yeah.
I was at a card show. I'm into sports cars, as you can
Yeah.
tell by the shit behind me. And I was making a deal with some guy, and he had a Trey Benson Color Blast, which is a $100 card. And I got it for like value of like $60. I was like, oh, Trey Benson will break out. Algier wasn't there yet. Connor's gonna hurt. Like Trey Benson. And then last year was like week 6, and James Conner got hurt, and I was like, let's fucking go, baby, dude. Trey Benson is back. Immediately fucked up his shit out for the rest of the year. I was like, God damn it. I own him in Dynasty. That's why I got his stupid fucking card. I just feel stupid about it.
Blast.
Color Blast, yeah, fucking whatever. But
$100.
I was the same way as you, Matt, where I started off with the the Cardinals in F tier. You thought about it. Their offensive line was close to league average in both last year. They add Chase Basantis from A&M, and the guard is probably going to hopefully be a solid guard for them.
Yeah.
Harris Johnson's solid at tackle.
Oh, yeah,
They are
Basantis.
they're missing at their other tackle as well. I think we have to give up on the notion that Marvin Harrison is ever going to be a top 10 receiver and just accept
Yeah.
that what he is a low end wide receiver 1, high end wide receiver
But I
2.
think at the end of this next year, he could be a top 20 receiver, and people could agree on that.
Yeah, I don't think that's crazy
He
at all.
had some yips type situation, is what it felt like to
my-
me last year.
I was watching some of his stuff because I've been thinking about him in Dynasty, and I was watching videos of him. And he had 3 or 4 different plays last year where he was wide open
The drops.
and just absolute yips. Like, what happened to you?
It was
dude?
kind of like Brian Thomas, where it's like they just think they're going to get hit over the middle.
Which is weird because they're both such like mega athletes who are super big and strong.
Yeah.
I don't know, but Love, simple equation. Love, McBride, Paris Johnson, who's okay, and then LaFleur, who we don't know much about. I ended up having them up in C tier. I'd feel very fine with them exactly where they're at right now.
I still think I'd have them at least below Atlanta, probably below the Buccaneers as well. I would put them top of D, but I understand that there are valuable pieces here, and there's still the chance that Harrison breaks out. There's still the chance that there's enough pieces at wide receiver, and they have an all-star running back room. Their offensive line is all right, and they have debatably the best tight end in the league right now. So I see the argument for C tier. I still think for me it's D, but horse apiece at this point.
I could see moving them below the Falcons. I personally don't want to move them below the Buccaneers, but
That's exactly where Matt. That's exactly where I have them.
okay.
We'll go with that.
Well, 2 out of 3, majority that. That leads Miles. You get the runway. You get to talk about Matt LaFleur, Christian Watson, Green Bay
Jacobs.
Packers.
Hey, Connor, fill us in on what happened with big old JJ, a guy who was, I believe, up for Walter Payton Man of the Year within the past few years.
Well, everything is alleged, so I cannot speak on it. But there's alleged things you guys have. If you're watching this, you can look it up. Put it into Grok. Put it into freaking ChatGPT. Have them tell you. But yeah, some stuff happened.
have breaking
whether
news.
or not he's going to play.
Josh Jacobs has not been nominated for the Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year award, but he did take home the FedEx Ground Player of the Year in 2023. So
Potato.
Does
That's
that
it.
speak to his character?
He was.
What about the
he's been-
Kathy Allen Sportsmanship Award? You take that one home?
I know that
Big
Jacobs
stuff.
has been a huge locker room guy.
Totally.
And widely considered to be a great guy. So that's why this news was especially shocking. If you told me that Matthew Golden had these charges, I'd be like, yeah, wide receiver,
Yeah.
SEC, sure. But Josh Jacobs, I was like, what? Anyways, Packers always find a way to piece together a good offensive line despite not having any superstars. Their offensive line this past year was 6th pass block, 19th run block, which kind of checks out watching them. They always find a way to hold them pass pro. I think their wide receivers are fine-ish. I regret losing Dobbs. I think he was our most consistent receiver last year.
Yeah.
I used to think Watson was bad. In year 1, I thought he was a bust. In year 2, I thought he was a bust. In year 3, I thought he was okay. And then last year, I was like,
You thought he was
Whoa.
a bust in year 1?
yeah. I just
About like 8 touchdowns.
He had a hat trick game. What are you talking
Yeah,
about?
but that was all in the first few years, and they were all like breakaway, wide open, schemed up
True.
plays. He had so many drops, wide open drops, and he didn't really separate at all. It was just using his speed, using his size to get the ball at him and set up plays.
I'll
Now,
let you finish it.
now I think when Watson is healthy, he's a top 25, top 20 receiver in the NFL, like firmly awesome.
100%. Yep.
I trust LaFleur a lot. He has this weird habit in games of going for it all or going for nothing. It's a lot of first down pass, second down, run it 2 yards up the middle, third down, 3rd and 8, throw a dig route, or like it's 3rd and 8, and he runs like a 30-yard go ball to Romeo Doubs or Watson down the sideline.
Yeah.
It's like this constant Packers thing where if it's 3rd and long, they go for it all, or 3rd and short, they go for it all, and it's just like this weird dichotomy of like wishing he would kind of try and find a middle
Explosive
ground
plays.
of stuff over the middle. Love is so tall and he's got such a great arm. I wish they would keep trying to find stuff over the middle. But after losing Dobbs, now it's Reed, Watson, Golden. And I feel fine about
Pretty sick
Watson
to
over the
me.
middle of the field.
Sounds like
But-
a pretty sick room to me.
I like it.
It's good, but definitely not great. Kraft, I think, is awesome. I think he's right there with Loveland. I think he's a slightly better blocker than Loveland, but right there with Loveland in terms of top 5, 6 tight ends in the NFL. I think he's
if he were
sick.
fully healthy for sure.
He's led the NFL in yards after the catch for any position.
Demon.
He's George Kittle squared after the
Probably.
catch. I trust LaFleur. I trust the offensive line and the receivers. I had the Packers firmly in B tier. I'm open to having them in A tier, but I think they kind of belong in the Bills-Vikings range.
I will say this. I think that LaFleur is what does it for me.
Yeah.
LaFleur has proved that if you are a quarterback, he will do whatever. He'll play to your strengths. He's not going to come in. You're not going to come in and he's going to tell you to do something that you can't do and that you're not capable of doing. He's going to scheme an offense up for you.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I would look for as a quarterback. That's what I would hope. And every year we look at the talent on the offense of the Green Bay Packers and we go, I don't know about this. I don't know about this. These guys kind of seem like mid-tier players, and then somehow they always rank top 10 in every metric there is. And is that LaFleur? Are these players just better than what the consensus is on them? I don't know.
I think luckily
But
LaFleur,
I'm in on LaFleur.
had Rodgers, and then even when Love first started playing, he was pretty good already. So we haven't had to see
But
him
Willis,
with the bat. True.
What
Yeah,
about Malik
Willis?
Willis?
But Willis is also like a, he gets to surprise a defense with a bespoke game plan. Like, I don't know if a year-long Willis team would be as good, or I guess we don't know. But we just don't know what that would be.
Yeah, what does he have? He has like 4 starts.
I think
And at least
3.5.
But at least one of them was back-to-back. At least
Yes.
one of them,
I
the
think that
defense
happened
had
in
a
2024.
full week of knowing that he's gonna be there. And you can't tell me that a guy that got benched, had no confidence in the whole world,
True.
gets traded for a 7th-round pick.
He's there for 6 weeks, by the way.
He's there for 6 weeks.
That was
He gets there
awesome.
late in training camp, by the way. He didn't get there in July. He got there later in the year.
Yeah.
6 weeks, boom. Crazy.
And LaFleur goes, don't worry. I have a game plan. Just follow the game plan.
Yeah.
And we're gonna play the game for you.
No, that was badass.
You got this.
It's kind of like the Josh Dobbs, Kevin O'Connell game, where it's just like, that's legacy right there.
And so
I like them
I think
here
right there
or
makes
here.
sense. That's where I have him, but if Miles has him firm in B, I think that makes sense. And I don't want to be Packers bias either. So
I have him at 10, and in my head that was A, but I probably can't have 10 go all the way through A. So probably it should be B.
Yeah, I don't think you can put them in the Kyle Shanahan, Ben Johnson, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, like cheat code level. LaFleur's great. Their wide receivers are league average, maybe as a group, maybe. Kraft, and then question mark Josh
Dude,
Jacobs.
I don't know. I could see them in the same tier as the Bengals, even though I have them close to the Bengals in my list.
I don't think they're in the same tier as the Bears.
Probably not. We maybe just don't have quite enough tiers at the top, though.
Yeah,
I think
we
I
can
like them
adjust
there.
later too.
Connor, that brings us over to you with the Raiders, the Fernando Mendoza, Clint Kubiak. Got it right this time, Raiders.
So I'm going to start out with saying top of D tier for me. I like Brock Bowers. I think Ashton Genty can break out this year. They have the Ashton Genty insurance by drafting Mike Washington Jr. He was a stud out of Arkansas, right?
That sounds about right.
Yep, Arkansas, super testy, fastest 4.3,
Super testy.
RAS based.
Oh God. Yep. So the idea is that they set up the offense enough that they are ready to take that leap with the first round quarterback, the number 1 overall quarterback, and then they brought in Clint Kubiak, who just won the Super Bowl by bringing Sam Darnold, NFL journeyman, to leading an NFL offense to winning the biggest game in the league.
Yeah.
And you can argue that the defense played the biggest role in that, but you can't deny that you have to be at least good enough as a quarterback to make that happen.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not in love with their offensive line. We can have the offensive line expert talk about their offensive line, but they have a ton of just young wide receivers that can prove something. I'm not huge on Jack Beck, but I think that in the pre-draft process, he showed that he has potential. He didn't really get the opportunity to show anything last year.
Yeah.
Deontay Thornton, he's a huge 6'5" burner.
He's a deep threat.
I like him. Trey Tucker, Jalen Naylor. It's kind of chalk at this point. It's like next year they should probably get some passing weapons outside of Brock Bowers and Michael Mayer.
They took
me,
Jermon
it seems
McCoy
like-
in the 4th over Surratt. A lot of people wanted him to take Surratt that day.
Yeah. And so all that to say, it seems like this year it's just going to be pretty much a running heavy offense. That seems like it's just built to let Mendoza do the processes of being a quarterback, but not letting it sit in his hands, and there's going to be a running offense.
What'd you think,
Offensive
Miles?
line guy, go.
Is that me or Matt?
That's you. You're the offensive line guy.
That's me. 22 in both pass block, run block. I had the Raiders a little
Colton
higher.
Miller was gone. Linderbaum's in. It's a lot different for sure.
Right.
Scheme's way different.
Right. I feel strongly about Linderbaum making a difference right away. And then the main variable for me is Clint Kubiak. I think if you had Chip Kelly there still, they'd be firmly in D tier, but I believe enough in Kubiak in terms of what he did in Seattle in a short sample size that I would advocate for them to be in C tier. I don't think having them in D is unreasonable at all. Bowers, Genty, hopefully close to league average offensive line, to me catapults them up to C tier. I just feel strongly that Genty's still probably a top 10 running back in the NFL. We don't know anything about him in a competent system yet. I think Bowers is a true wide receiver 1, even though he plays tight end. Their wide receiver room is obviously atrocious, like the bottom 3 in the NFL. But the Kubiak effect, along with Bowers, who I view as like a bona fide wide receiver 1, and Genty, to me, has them right on that CD, kind of where we have them right now.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd bump him into C. I think that for me, they'd have to stay here in D.
Yeah, I took a negative outlook on this whole thing. I've always been like since the week 2 last year, and I even like Clint Kubiak on the Saints. Like I think I had a positive Clint Kubiak. For some reason, I just thought about like how many, last year I think in terms of like EPA per play, the Seahawks were 20th in the run game, and then like 3rd or 6th in the pass. They hit so many explosive pass downfield to JSN. And I could just see a world where some of that like explosion goes down. Maybe that's bogus of me. And I think just Clint Kubiak, we know he's good. I don't know if we know if he's great or not.
Yep.
And then I think the receivers are bad. They have Colton Miller and Linderbaum, but Colton Miller's coming off of an injury. Questions elsewhere. For some reason, I just took a really negative thing. So I actually have him one spot below the Giants. So I want them to
Crazy.
stay in D for sure.
Yeah,
That's fine. Yeah.
I'm fine moving them down too, but not to F. But like
No,
moving
no,
them
no,
back,
not F,
moving
no.
them back.
I like the Ravens above them at least.
I do as well.
That's fine.
Like I think there's Declan Doyle in the run game could make the Ravens a better. Okay,
We don't know anything about Declan Doyle
Buzzinga.
yet, though.
that is true. I just think it could be something.
That's fine.
Okay, Connor, you just did the Raiders, so it's me and the Eagles, right?
Yep.
Okay. Immediately, Sean
Matt.
Mannion is unknown.
Can I frame a question to you quick?
I'd love for you to frame a question.
2 years ago, where would the Eagles be for you?
How far into Kellen Moore's reign are we?
We're talking post Super Bowl, before last year. Just
Oh.
going into last offseason, where would the Eagles be for
The
you?
fact that they were, the fact it was an unknown and OC at that point, you'd probably put them like 4th.
Yeah, I feel about the same.
Like you wouldn't be able to put them at first because it's a new OC. Honestly, their offense was hit or miss a lot of that year. It heated up right at the end, so maybe more like
Right.
8th, because it was all run game. Remember that season? It was like Saquon had 2,000 yards, but the pass game was inconsistent.
I think given how good their offensive line was that year, Lane Johnson, Mulata, Dickerson,
Yeah,
Juergens,
probably be top 5. For
A.J.
sure.
Brown, Devonta Smith, Saquon, I think you would pretty firmly have them in A tier. Just as like
yeah.
I want to bring that up because that's what first came into my mind when I was doing this is like, how much can change in 1 year and how far can they drop?
Yeah.
When their offensive line is still mainly the same guys, and they
Yeah.
lose A.J. Brown.
I punished the Eagles for having Sean Mannion because they had a long process where they looked at a lot of OC candidates, and it wasn't until a lot of people said no. There was rumors about there being drama in the building with Nick Sirianni. Their O-line coach just retired or left the team. I can't think of his name right now.
Stoutland.
Jeff Stoutland left the team. Apparently Vic Fangio wanted to leave the team. So there's some weird situation going on with the Eagles. They bring in Mannion. He could be good, but he doesn't have a crazy track record of learning under coaches. He's been a backup quarterback until recently. The O-line is still there. A lot of guys were injured, but Lane Johnson and Landon Dickerson both talked about retirement, so I'm not valuing them that highly because I don't know where they're going to be coming off injury. Jordan Mailata's still really stout. They don't have A.J. Brown, theoretically. I like Devonta Smith and Mekhi Lemon. I like Dallas Goedert and Eli Stowers. I like Saquon Barkley. I even like Dontavian Wicks as a receiver 3. I think I'd have them below the Packers but above the Bills in B tier if I could rank them right now.
Connor?
I'd move them behind the Vikings. I just don't trust their receiving core. I love their offensive line, but it's just a lot of names that like almost like the most known offensive line is the Philadelphia Eagles. And I feel like that gives me the bias that they are better than what they probably actually are. Saquon, I'm still on Saquon. I think Stowers is going to add a nice complementary big pass catcher that they don't necessarily have, but it's unproven. I don't love them where they're at in B, but I don't think they deserve to go back to C.
You forgot one key name. Their wide receiver 1.
Dontavian Wicks.
Let's go. Let's fucking go, baby. Come on now.
Hey, baby.
How dare you, dude?
I hope Mekhi Lemon is him.
I would hate to see them go below the Vikings.
Yeah. Go below the Vikings? You would hate that?
Yeah, I would. You guys are Vikings
I
lovers. You
no.
It's just me in a gay bar.
No, it's just Kevin O'Connell pilled. That is what's going on here. And then I like their wide receiver core about as much as I like the Eagles. I still trust O'Connell after the McCarthy year. I think they firmly belong in B tier. That's where I had them. I had them at 12. Just because of the not last year, but the previous 3 years before. A lot of the same names. No Kellen Moore. Manning's a complete unknown. I don't like Hurts at all. Obviously, that doesn't matter in this scenario, but that does kind of play into my thinking just inevitably. I think if you dropped a league average quarterback into this that wasn't Hurts, I think we would firmly think about them in B tier. I like them in the same general range. I can see even putting them in behind the Saints. Anywhere from Saints to behind Packers, I'm fine with.
Okay. Connor, where do you want them?
I'd put them behind the Vikings, and if you don't want to do that, let's put them behind the Bills.
Say your exact spot.
I'll just go with consensus here. Put them between the Bills and Vikings.
Okay. I think
that seems good to me.
We'll call it there.
Yep.
Okay. This leads Miles to talk about the Rams. I think he's got this.
I think I do have this, actually. The LA Rams, as Connor's throwing out with some gang symbols, I believe, from the west side of Baraboo. What does that mean? Sean McVay? You used to.
I don't know what this is.
What does that mean?
L.A.
Spotify listeners, we're going through specific hand signals that Connor's
Does this
throwing out
kinda
as
look like
means to
LA?
understand. So I feel pretty strongly. I had the Rams at 1.
Oh, he's making an S.
I had the Rams at 1.
I'm pointing to F.
It's
hard to do in the mirror.
I feel pretty strongly the Rams are an S tier team. I would confidently take them above the Broncos and Lions. I'm a little bit concerned about aging Devontae Adams, and also the Rams are trying to deal him and get a different wide receiver this year, which makes me nervous. Puka is a top 4 wide receiver in the NFL. They have a plethora of sick tight ends. Like, their tight end room is insane.
They got 5 of them.
Yeah.
They got 5 of them. I love Kyron. I love the cat. I love Corum,
Corum.
by the way. sick offensive line that's been solid over the past few years.
Yep.
Interiors had struggles with health, and then McVay. I don't think there's any way you could put him in A tier, and I wouldn't be like, wow, that's crazy. But I think they belong in S.
I had him at 1,
Yeah.
Connor. Agree with Miles. Where'd you have him?
2, I had him behind the Lions.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is. I'm going to ask Connor this question. What do you think about the fact that Stafford was given MVP over Drake May last year? Given the fact that we're having discussion like, are the Patriots supporting class? Are they at 13 or are they at 22? And we are all sitting here saying, oh, yeah, the Rams are easily the best supporting cast, and yet Stafford still got the MVP.
I said this on record when they were doing this, and they were going through this process. Drake May was more valuable to his team than Matt Stafford was valuable to his
By
to the
far.
Rams. By far.
What do you think, Miles?
But you can't not give it to Stafford. It's a legacy award. It's a legacy award.
I think the MVP is super nuanced. My vote would have been Stafford by a hair. All the stats said May. However, I am of the opinion that the Patriots' schedule was just that bad last year. When you look at the quarterbacks and defenses they played, I think that Patriots' schedule was like quite literally like an anomaly in history. We're going to look back on and say, wow, that was crazy. I think the Patriots are like a 9 or a 10 win team this year. Post that schedule with the first place schedule, I think max 10 win team. They could win 11. I wouldn't be shocked by that. I thought you'd give it to Stafford, and I think in my mind a deal breaker between the two or a tiebreaker between the two. Stafford's been doing this for 15 years.
Yeah.
Drake May has been doing it for 1.5. And that shouldn't mean everything. However, if it's a tiebreaker between a guy like that, I think when you look back on history and try and process things, say this is Drake May's best season last year, which I don't think is crazy given what we've seen from Jaden and CJ Stroud. I don't think that's crazy to say this would be Drake May's best year. It probably won't be. But career achievement, I think, is a real thing. I would have taken Stafford by a hair. Drake May's awesome, but it was close to me.
Yeah, I agree with the sentiment that give it to the career achievement if it's close. My thought process was that it was just nowhere near close. I mean, Sean McVay has made an MVP level offense out of Jared Goff, and we now think Jared Goff is an average quarterback. And I think Stafford's awesome, but it's just that system was bred for success. They were like top 5 in rushing success rate. The Patriots were bottom 10 or bottom 12. Like everything Drake May did was on his own. I think if you swapped offenses, the Rams would be the number 1 offense in the league, and the Patriots would be average last year.
Averages. Stafford's a dog.
Yeah, if you think
Stafford's a
if you
dog.
think they're 22 this year, then last year you thought they were 28 for surrounding cast.
Patriots?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was Stafford, maybe not average, but like let's say 12th, like in that average range. Drake May's EPA per play was like 50% higher than Stafford's on a much worse roster. He only did awesome plays all the time.
I think about the schedule different than you do. I think that schedule was just if the Patriots had the 24th easiest schedule, I'd be like, oh yeah, give it to Drake. 32nd with a bullet.
I'll have to dive into it and show you what I could find. I think the schedule, like it adjusts it maybe 15%, but his EP per play was 50% higher, not 15. I'm just frustrated by people in the career achievement of it when Drake May I thought was the best last year.
Can I give you the Patriots schedule?
By team name?
Yes.
You can, but I'm going to say that the teams are going to sound worse than their defense was from a statistical standpoint.
Okay, I won't give it to you then.
That's what I would argue. We'll have to just have a debate maybe at some point. Okay.
We've had a debate this time.
I know, but none of us have the things we want to cite to have our leading arguments with. Miles did the Rams. That brings Connor to the Browns. What you got for the Browns, Connor?
All right. Cleveland Browns, believe it or not, I'm putting them in the D tier. I think that I like that with the improvements that they did to their offensive line. I think that it's getting there. I think that they have 2 arguably should have been first round wide receivers that they drafted this year.
Yeah.
But Jerry Jeudy sucks. They kind of like have their wide receiver room, the roles that everyone has. I like that. They don't have any gaps. They're not all slot heavy. They got their outside X, they got their Y, and they got their Z. I like that. They grabbed Fano. I liked Alden Jenkins. I liked him getting in there. Titus Howard. Harold Fanahan, who was tight end breakout year last year.
Yep.
Great pass catcher. And it all kind of depends on the running back room. They got Judkins, Sampson, and Judkins proved that he can do things in the league. I don't know if he can continue to do things in the league.
Yeah,
Also,
bad injury too.
alleged things happen.
Yeah, true.
Don't know how long he's gonna stay
up.
out of
Lock me
lock someone up. I don't know.
Not her, him.
Yep. So definitely D tier. When I'm looking at the D tier right now, I'd probably put him ahead of the Giants. Don't know if I do it ahead of the Raiders.
I like them here.
Yeah, I agree. I think them
and hold up, and their ball and chain is now gone. The sky is the limit for them.
Kevin Stefanski.
Kevin Stefanski, not
Kevin
Deshaun Watson.
Stefanski is gone.
Deshaun Watson is
The
not.
ball, yeah.
He wasn't the ball and chain. The 60 mil a year, the 3 firsts. No,
It's like
it was
dropping a
Stefanski.
ball of
Okay.
yarn, and then you look behind you, and there's just a massive spike chain, like 50 pounds of steel.
Yeah, the Boston Fano Concepcion adding takes them firmly out of F tier. Even if those guys end up being meh, like they'll at least be solid. Having 2 guys above Judy, who I think is just a TikTok route runner, and then Fano, and then the free agent additions, even though they overpaid on the offensive line, puts them right about in there. I feel good about that.
Okay, we
So-
have.
So here's the one thing I want to say. This team is primed for a quarterback edition next year.
Oh yeah.
Just totally juiced up. I think this might be the destination out of like the teams that are going to be bad this year. This might be the QB destination.
Or the Cardinals if they can lose
Cleveland.
enough.
Well, yeah, you're right. They do have a sick running back room. So
What do you guys think the Browns' win total is set at this year?
4.5.
6.5.
5.5.
Ooh, I would have thought
Just
more.
for the reference for first overall pick. Matt, what were you saying?
I was gonna move on to the Colts.
Let's do it.
Oh, we have 10 teams left. Let's try to just pick up the pace a little bit. Maybe one person talks, and someone, if they really disagree, we can have a discussion.
Roger.
Okay, I'm going to go with the Colts. I have them as an average team. I think they were an amazing supporting cast last year, partly because Shane Steichen struck gold. I don't think he's going to always strike gold with his scheme. I have them here in my list, like slightly above average in the B tier. Losing Pittman is kind of bad. They still have Downs and Alec Pierce. They have that great offensive line. They lost Braden Smith to the Texans, but apparently their right tackle that is in replacement, they really like what they've seen. I think he's going into year 3. And their O-line coach is known to develop players. So Jonathan Taylor, good O-line, decent receiver room. Tyler Warren, I have him. Oh, and I like Shane Steichen. So I have him above average right around here.
I have
Yep.
them lower.
Where you got him,
I
Connor?
have them at top of C.
Okay.
I don't like wide receiver room.
Yeah,
but-
my thought is they were the number 1 offense before Daniel Jones had a little tinge through 8 weeks last year. So it's
Yeah.
like there's got to be some sort of special sauce in what they were trying to do.
Yeah, it's good enough.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Seahawks,
like it.
Miles.
The Seattle Seahawks, I had right kind of in the same range as Eagles, Colts, Vikings. They lose Kubiak. I think Kubiak was real for them. I don't think that was an anomaly. I thought that he had a bit effect on their offense. They moved on from the guy who used to coach at Washington, who's now at Alabama.
Yeah.
Blanking his name right now.
Me too.
JSN. They lose Kenneth Walker. They add Jadarian Price. I'm high on Price. He shouldn't have been a first-round pick. He should have been a high second-round pick. He should have been picked at 38, not 32. At the same time, he's still going to be a valuable addition for them as Charbonnet works his way back from injury. Their offensive line was abnormally healthy, and their whole roster was abnormally healthy last year.
Mm-hmm.
So that lends itself to doubt. Shaheed's a great addition at the deadline. He's a wide receiver 3 to me, maybe borderline wide receiver 2. I could see that. That's fine. As well as Matt Sky, the rookie who they brought in. Matt, what's his name?
Torrey Horton.
I think if their offensive line doesn't stay healthy, their depth gets questionable immediately, especially at tackle. Things fall off quickly for them, which they had issues at in the past, but I think they belong pretty firmly in B.
Yeah, I had him a little lower. I think their new OC, his name is Brian Fleury. I just added more question marks into who he is. And again, they just had so many explosive passes, and that was part of the reason their efficiency stats were so high. And I just wonder, like, how consistent can that be? Like, is JSN going to be 1,800 yards every year? I think maybe not. And then they have some offensive line questions, and their tight ends are fine. Their running backs could be okay. I had them more in this range in the bottom of C. What do you think, Connor?
I like them after Atlanta.
Miles, I would agree with this. Are you okay with this, or you want to go here?
Having above the Steelers is fine for me.
Okay, I think seems average to us. Okay, Connor, what do you think about the Titans, the Cam Ward, Brian Dable Titans?
The Alec Manor Titans.
True.
I have them at the bottom of D right now. Arguably F. Honestly, top of F. That's where I'm putting them. Move them top of F. Looking at this roster, I like J.C. Latham. I like Peter Skoronski. Hate the rest of their offensive line.
Yeah.
Don't like the wide receiver core. Calvin Ridley, dud. Wandale, he's just going to get fed the ball from Brian Daboll.
Not
because
good for good offense.
The best thing that happened to Wandale Robinson was Brian Daboll.
So true.
Tony Pollard, Tajay Spears, not in on them. Nick Singleton can burst on the scene, but not betting on it. Don't like the running back room. I think this is going to be another year where it's going to be pretty hard for Cam Ward to do anything. But me personally, I'm just not that high on Carnell Tate. So,
yeah, I completely agree. They have these are two names in their offensive line that are supposed to start right now: Austin Schlottman and Cordell Volson. I have no idea who the fuck those guys are. Literally, I know a lot about random names. Never heard those guys in my life.
Yeah, they're right in the right spot for me.
I have them here. Where do you? I have them at 31.
I had him right on DF, so I'd have him above the Commanders.
We'll put him there. Okay, that leads me to the Jaguars. I really like Liam Cohen. I think he's just got the sauce. Their roster is not necessarily complete sauce boom over the top, but I do like between Parker Washington, Jacoby Myers, and Brian Thomas Jr., I think that's a pretty electric, fun receiver room.
Mm-hmm.
Running back room is probably bad with Bashal Tune and Chris Rodriguez, but I think it's going to be able to survive.
Yeah.
And their O-line's not a strength. We like Anton Harrison. We like a couple pieces. But it's not a strength. I would put them here or here in my list currently.
I'm in the same range. Just for the record, they were top 10 in both pass block, run block win rate last year. Exact same range. I think I'd have them in B tier right above the Packers.
Okay, so we're gonna have a small B tier or a small A tier. It seems like if we're this is how
I'd
we're
put them in the
operating.
back of A. Genuinely,
I don't.
They got a sick wide receiver room.
And Liam Cohen has the sauce. Like I think
Yeah.
he's sauced up.
I don't think they belong in the same conversation as Jamar T, but that's fine, I guess.
Yeah, I just don't think Zach Taylor has the sauce. That's why I would argue.
I think they're just like the Packers.
Dude,
To
like
me,
if
they're
Joe
the same
Burrow
level as
went to the
Packers.
if Joe Burrow was on the Jaguars would be awesome.
Mamma mia.
It would be
I think
insane.
their offenses would be around the same.
I think Joe Burrow's a lot better than Trevor Lawrence, though, right?
I think Joe Burrow is light years better than Trevor Lawrence.
I mean, I like Trevor, but he's not Joe Burrow.
Yes,
Okay, we'll do 2 out of
Yes.
3.
it's a one spot difference. Who
Connor
cares?
and I think he's there. Well, the tiers are bigger, and that leads
I think he
Miles
should be
on
B.
the Jets.
The Jets. They add Kenyon Sadiq at 16 this year, and they take Omar Cooper. They traded up to get him at 30, I believe. They've got 2 solid tackles, Fashanu, as well as Christ, I'm blanking.
Oh, Membu.
Mambu. 2 foreign names. I had them in D tier because of their rookie additions this year, offensive line, mid in terms of metrics. I think they are a level above the Titans, Commanders, Dolphins. I'd have them in the Browns, Giants range.
What do you think, Connor?
Yeah, about out there for me too. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I like honestly if they had a better coordinator, I could put them a lot higher. I'm just going to be out on Frank Reich as hard as I can, so I can't put him any higher. I don't like Frank Reich.
Yeah.
And Connor's up with the Panthers.
F. Right ahead of the Titans. I don't know a single human being that plays on their offensive line.
Oh,
Admittedly, they got Rasheed Walker. They signed Rasheed Walker, but I guess that's one. Tommy Tremble,
Tommy Tremble
zero.
ain't it.
Nope. They have Tedero McMillan, Xavier Legette, maybe.
Cokeheads.
I'm not one of those, and so that's
I'm
why
a
I have.
cokehead.
Speak
them
for
in
yourself,
F.
brother. Up top,
Jimmy
Matt.
Horn, Promise, Chris Brazel. I mean, he had a lot of hype coming out of the draft out of Tennessee. I don't really like Tennessee wide receivers because they have a bad track record. I betted one last year. It didn't do anything. And Chuba and Jonathan Brooks, I guess,
Yeah.
maybe.
I'm gonna cut in and say, their O line is good. It's a very they're not household names, but it's a gap style, just push you out of the way.
Yeah.
I think Damian Lewis and Robert Hunt are the guards.
Yes.
They have Taylor Moton, right tackle. They drafted the Georgia guy, the white guy, Monroe Freeling. And then Ike Ikwanu's there. Unfortunately, he tore his patella. I think their offensive line is good. It is a good offensive line.
You know who Luke Fortner is?
Is that their center?
At their center, but they drafted Sam Heck too.
Yeah.
I really strongly don't think the Panthers should be an F tier. I think they have a much better offensive line, skill group, and running back group than all those teams in that tier. I think they should be in D.
I have them as above the Buccaneers in my list
I had them in. I had the top of C as well, or bottom of C, top of D.
because I think
maybe
Dave
it's just because I have Bryce Young on my dog list.
So yeah,
So
I
maybe
have Bryce
I'm
Young as
higher
a
on
fraud.
Bryce Young.
I think the offense could be something without Bryce Young.
He's a fraud dog for me.
Yeah.
Dog
Okay.
face fraud list.
Well,
I think we should put him in D above the Ravens.
D, dude, the gap that run game is too good on its own. Even with a shitty quarterback, I feel like you bring.
Connor thinks it's F, so I'm trying to find a middle.
Yeah, Connor doesn't know that O line though. He didn't that's fine. But those are weird names. Those are good.
Yeah.
At you.
I'm
run
totally
game.
fine with their back of
I'm
C.
not buying it. But
How do you think Rico Dowdle literally was insane, and Chuba Hubbard that you have in
I told
Dynasty
you.
has been insane at
I told
times?
you.
Those aren't good backs. Those are
two
just
people on my dog list: Bryce Young and Rico Dowdle.
Oh, it's the. Okay, fine. I'll stop.
Yeah, that's where I think they should be.
Okay, that leads me to the Cowboys. I put the Cowboys really high, even though I felt
Same.
dumb doing it because I'm like,
No.
am I just discounting Dak here? Because Dak's done a lot, but ultimately George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb, that's probably number 2 best receiver core.
Yep.
Besides Jamar T. Honestly, with how good George Pickens was at times, could be number 1. I think he has a slightly more over the top aspect to
Javonte.
him than T. Higgins. And that O line, there's not that many stars in the Cowboys O line, but it's kind of like I don't want to say the Broncos. I don't really know who to say. All 5 guys that you like having out there.
Eagles.
All average. Yeah. No, the Eagles have stars. They're a unique situation where then
Packers?
No, the Packers aren't as good as the Cowboys in O-line.
Yeah, it's upgraded Packers.
Upgraded Packers. Let's go there. Jake Ferguson's decent. And I think Schottenheimer, we don't know a ton about him, but he did so much better than what Mike McCarthy did in his last season with Dak. So I'm going to put him in the A tier, probably here for me, above the Bengals.
Yep, that's exactly where I had them. I like that.
Yeah, I'd put them on par with the Bengals.
Okay, we're all in agreement. That's Miles on the Chiefs.
The Chiefs, really tough one here. This is maybe a Mahomes glaze, definitely a Mahomes glaze. I had them at 28.
Ooh.
That's probably too low. I don't believe in Andy Reid anymore until
Yeah.
given further information. He just has not given anything in terms of explosive. They've been bottom 5 explosives for the past 2 or 3 years. I don't like their wide receiver core at all. Like bad receiver core, like bottom 5 receiver core. They're not F. They're putting them in C feels complimentary, even though I'm kind of open to it. But I think that receiver core is so bad. They add Kenneth Walker, which is nice. They have nice tackles, kind of, I guess. So I think having them right at the top of D and D range would be fair to me.
What do you think, Connor?
Same. I'm just not like essentially not Mahomes pilled, but I guess that would make me Mahomes pilled. That I'm like, I genuinely think Mahomes is just is this entire offense.
Yeah.
I can just draft anyone and have them just be stars
Miles,
so long as Patrick Mahomes is playing.
yeah, that's probably true. I had him at 19.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because I think that between Andy Reid, I think he like ran out of run game. They had no real running backs. I think with Sumataya and Josh Simmons getting a little further into their career, and they still have Trey Smith and Creed Humphrey.
Yeah.
I think their O-line could be top 10, and their receiving core
yeah.
is bad, but it's not complete. It's not a complete zero, and you still have Travis Kelce, and you have Andy Reid. And I don't like Andy Reid either. That's why I have him at 19.
It's just been so stale the past few years.
D-tier would be tough for me, though.
Also, quick side comment. I think it's funny when teams try and have deep threats be guys who are 5'11 speedsters. And I think we kind of know that deep threats are guys who are 6'4 jump ball guys, 6'2 jump ball guys.
Big targets. You're further away.
If you're small,
Those
you
guys
have to have
never win down the
insane,
field.
like ball locate. Like you have to be Deshaun Jackson with how good you are at adjusting to the ball.
I just think everyone drafts Xavier Worthy with the intention they'll be a downfield target because they'll stretch the field, but those guys just don't stretch the field. So,
Yeah.
anyways.
Okay, are you guys okay with here, or do you want to go top of D?
Top of D.
Top of D.
Okay. Miles. Oh, wait, no. Who did the Chiefs
Nope.
there?
It's I. I'm up.
You are a
Tis
Charger.
I.
You are a Charger boy.
I
Charged
have
up,
them
baby.
right behind the Bengals. I am
Whoa!
on the LA Chargers.
Whoa!
I am in on the LA Chargers.
I had them, Connor.
I-
I had them 2 spots behind the Bengals. So I'm
Okay.
right. I'm right there with you.
I'm in, man. I think that McConkey, Johnston, and Trey Harris, they are fine enough. You can't even throw Trey Harris out of there. Put Gadsden in. Put Njoku as the standard tight end. That's a killer receiving core.
Yeah.
In and of itself. Their offensive line, huge on Tyler Biadasz. And he was one that we were talking about how he left
Commanders.
Washington. He's a great center. He's a solid center in the league. They just drafted Jake Slaughter. So that's the one question mark. Cole Strange, Joe Alt, dog. Rashawn Slater, dog. Your guy, Miles. Omarion Hampton, dog.
Keaton Mitchell.
And one of the teams that can utilize a running back, a fullback, Alec Ingold,
Boom.
because of Mike McDaniel.
I didn't
And
think
guess
about Alec
what?
Ingold.
Mike McDaniel
I did.
is an all-star coordinator.
Okay, here's the question.
Yeah.
Where would McDaniel be for you, or where would the Chargers be if they had insert 22nd best offensive coordinator?
Lower.
Probably somewhere in here.
So this to me is just how good you think Mike McDaniel is.
Yes.
Their
With the
offense,
supporting cast. Yeah.
their offensive line last year, even though given they had injuries, was 32nd in both pass block and run block win rate. They added Biadasz.
The
Alton
tackles
Slater
were
are
dead.
injury
Miles. The
prone.
tackles were
Strange.
dead.
Alt and Slater have both. Slater's proven to be injury prone. Alt hasn't quite proven enough to prove that he'd be there. They still don't have tackle depth. Their guards fucking suck.
They swapped it. They swapped their entire
They
interior.
signed Jake Slaughter. They brought in Tyler Biadasz. And here's the thing.
And Cole
the
Strange.
line sucked for the Dolphins, and they were insane at running the football.
Yes, I get it, and I don't think having them there is crazy. I'm just not convinced their offensive line is going to be good. And maybe that doesn't matter with McDaniel. I don't like their receiving core as much as you guys do. I think McConkey's a fine number 2. I think Johnston's a fine number 3.
I'm not even sure if you're wrong. It just doesn't matter. It's Mike fucking McDaniel. He made an
That's
number one
fine.
offense
yeah.
with Tua.
I made my point.
I think McConkey's an average 1. Johnston is a borderline 2-3.
You think McConkey's the 15th best receiver in the NFL?
I think he has the potential to be
Dude,
that.
like, honestly, if I could put a random quarterback in any of these offenses, I think I'd rather put him on the Chargers right now than on the Bengals or the Cowboys.
That's not insane.
McDaniel,
that is
McDaniel
not
is a
insane.
walking explosive play.
Listen, I'm the Herbert and Hampton owner here. I feel like I'm crazy.
Dude, it's you know what it is? It's the Charlie Kohler, Alec Ingold zone running game, misdirection, get in the defensive coordinator's head, always chess match, beat you up. Like, it doesn't matter that Jake Slaughter is going to play guard. That just doesn't matter to me because it's Mike McDaniel. He just figures it out.
I think if the Chargers stay healthy, I don't think it's unrealistic that I see them in January.
When have the Chargers ever
Playing
stayed
for the Super
healthy?
Bowl.
Yeah, that's the problem. I just kind of assumed health for the most
If they do,
part.
yes, absolutely. They just have never stayed healthy.
I think all the additions that they made were because of Mike McDaniel saying, I need this for my offense. And I think they did it.
You
I think
really
they
like
acquired who they
you like Brendan Thompson?
No. That was
for
a
McDaniel,
fourth round
I do.
draft pick.
Because he's going to go on the
that's a
field.
fourth-round
A corner
draft
is going to be like, oh, I have to act like this because Brendan Thompson's there. And that's going to manipulate someone to go somewhere. And then all of a sudden, holy shit, our third tight end, David Njoku's wide open.
I love the Chargers. I'm fine with them here. I'm really apprehensive about their O-line.
So Connor and I have them here. You had them in C.
No, I'd have them in B.
Okay, so we'll put them here as
That's fine. That's fine.
As our in the middle. Okay, that puts me into the Texans. Let me see what I got with the Texans. Texans I have at 23. I said Nick Caley is not great, question mark. The O-line should be better than last year, but by how much? The receiving core is okay. Nico Collins is elite. Other guys are something. Tight end's okay. Running backs are probably bad. All I see is Nico Collins and then wish casting.
Yeah.
So
offensive line, bottom 3 in pass block and win rate last year, and they've been bottom 5 the past 3 years.
I'd probably
they had
put
Colton
them
Miller
here-ish.
So they drafted Rutledge first round. They brought in Wyatt Teller and Brendan Smith, and Ursery had a pretty dang good year.
Yeah.
He had a pretty dang good year last year. Ed Ingram, not really sure how he's going to do, but
he was okay for them.
I don't think their offensive line is going to be terrible. The thing I don't like the most on their team right now, I mean, outside of their running back room, is their wide receivers. I think that they don't have. I'm not that high on Nico Collins anymore, but I don't think he's going to do nothing. And I'm not that high on Jaden Higgins, but he's still respectable. And Tank Dell's about the same. And your guy, Jalen Noel,
dog,
he's good. Dog.
Good. Probably
Dog
not going to play much.
Probably not going to play much. And so it's pretty mid to me. I think if CJ Stroud doesn't have a good year this year, then he's
super interesting.
Fraud.
I think the Texans are the most interesting team in the NFL this year because this feels like make or break with Stroud going into his rookie contract extension.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I have put multiple bets on the Texans to win the AFC and win the Super Bowl.
Sick.
12-1, I think 24-1, something like that. Not because I believe in Stroud, but just in case Stroud works out. Their defense is that good, and they have the pieces on offensive line. We just haven't seen it yet. We don't know their scheme can work. Their offensive line has been terrible for years. Maybe these pieces will work. It's tough to say. Quick question before we wrap up here. Biggest disagreement for you guys on each of these teams. If you can pick out those while we work through these. As we work back, I'll just kind of recap here. Rams was consensus number 1 or 2. Broncos, Lions were consensus top of A. I was lower on the Lions because their offensive line and play caller, but I can see where the skill pieces would get them up that high. Bears was consensus top 5 or 6. I really feel strongly about them. Shanahan, T. Higgins, the Chargers found their way into A tier. I think that's fine. A little hesitant that's Justin Herbert bias, but McDaniel could be that awesome. B tier feels pretty solid to me. Packers, solid offensive line, down to the Saints, who are developing with Shuck in there.
Yeah, do you want to hear my biggest disagreement?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're not going to have to rehash it. It was the Patriots. I think ultimately we ended up having closer than I thought. I have them at 13 on my board. We have them at 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. It was just the Patriots-Vikings scenario where I was like, I have the Vikings a little lower, Patriots a little higher, and then seeing them swapped on the screen, it's like, ah.
Yeah.
Yeah. For me, it's the Broncos. I don't think the Broncos are number 2 on this list.
Yeah. I'm a Bo Nix hater.
I'm a Bo Nix hater.
That's why I'm so high.
Quinn Miner's lover, though.
True.
Quinn Miner's lover, Bo Nix hater. It evens
True.
out. It kind of nixes each other. Jalen Waddle, I think that was kind of the piece that made us bring them up to S into that. Like that was going to change their wide receiver room. And to me, it's like Jalen Waddle was a wide receiver 2 in Miami. And if Tyreek Hill stayed healthy, he would have been a wide receiver 2 his entire career there.
Yeah.
Cortland Sutton, all we did was preach that he's a wide receiver 2 and needs a wide receiver 1. And so, okay, they got 2 wide receiver 2s and Troy Franklin.
Yeah, and the best
How is
O-line,
this an
the best
S-tier
O-line in
team?
football. And Sean
Yes,
Payton.
okay. Yes, their offensive line is sick, but the running back room is pretty mid.
It
Yeah.
is mid.
My biggest disagreement was the Lions. I feel very confident that they should be put, because of their play caller, who's completely unproven, and their offensive line, which is completely unproven outside of Sewell. I completely disagree there being an S. I can see the argument for A. I personally would put them in the B tier between the Bills, or probably after
So
the Eagles.
are you going to be, if they have a top 5 offense this year, you'd be pretty surprised?
I think that Goff operates super well within the infrastructure. I wouldn't be shocked if they had a top 5 offense, but I'm hesitant about the offensive line and then Petsing. I think they're probably closer to the 10th or 12th best supporting cast, which isn't crazy. You know, like this is all fluid. It's tough to say.
Yeah, great
It's all
tier
fluid.
list. That was a lot of fun. I feel like overall, it is funny to like divorce quarterbacks from a team and be like the Patriots. It's like, wait, the Patriots surrounding cast isn't amazing. They were just great on offense. Like, it's a good exercise to really dig into the whole roster and see what you really think. I feel like we should keep doing stuff kind of like this that makes you think a little more.
Yes.
Connor?
Yes, I agree with that, Matthew. I liked how this was structured. It was a good structure, very well structured podcast we had going.
I love this exercise. I thought it was thrilling, and I think a great way to encapsulate towards our further goal in my mind of like trying to think about the NFL in creative ways that really bring out what you actually think about the teams in ways that are creative, and I think just kind of help you fully form what you think is actually happening around the league outside of the main storylines.
And that's the big thing. That's the big thing, because if you're watching this video, if you're at home watching this video and you think creatively about the NFL and you're like, where are the other people in this world? Where are the other people in this world that think creatively about football? You found them. It's us. And there's a button that you can click that makes sure that this content keeps coming up on your feed. It never stops coming up on your feed. It's called the subscribe button. Comment everything that you hate about our list. Comment if we put your team in F tier, go, screw you guys. We're not F tier. If you liked it, say, yeah, we're F tier. Thanks. We're going to have a good draft pick. That's what you need to do. I don't know why, but that's what you need to do. Matthew.
Thanks, guys, very much. This is way too long, but we're just diving in deep. Fraud out.
Fraud out. Goodbye.
I forgot the timing.